Good evening, Bigfoot, cryptid fans, dog man, whatever you want. Fishing fans. Hey, we can even say fishing fans tonight, by golly. But we got a great show lined up tonight. Yes, Robert Jones, we're late. You want to know why we're late? I'm going to give you a big hint. Are you
Hey,
ready? I
hey,
want
I
everybody
was
to watch the screen. This is why we are late, okay? That's why we're late, right there.
I was already here.
I was actually the last one to come in. But I was
Hey,
2 minutes
two
early.
weeks in a row, I beat you.
Yeah, I know. It's good. But anyway, we got Scott and Sheila Granger with us tonight. Sasquatch fishing outfitters, and I've seen them a few years back on we deciphered it to be Mark Newell's show, and it's pretty cool. We're glad to get them on here, and you know me, I'm just gonna shut my yap and turn the floor over to them and how they got started and all that good stuff. But I think it's pretty cool that they started an outdoors fishing deal and I obviously had encounters over the years, and now we got Bigfoot involved. So,
I'll let you swear.
Well,
rest of the crew, Chad, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. I hope to be doing good later too. I don't know.
Mr. Bucky. Hello,
Hang
Bucky.
on. Oh, I'm sorry. My dog was barking. The neighbor's dog is barking, so I started to put me on
Yes,
mute. I'm sorry. I'm
Australia
sorry very
now.
much. I'd like to say hello and welcome Miss Scott and Sheila to the evening show. And I know you all for a good while now. I can't wait to see you again down there at the West Virginia Bigfoot Festival here in beautiful downtown Summersville, West Virginia.
When's that?
October 8th, 9th.
You
10th.
guys have got to move that crap
Actually,
further
it's
into the
October
year. I can't. Man, it's
Well, actually,
busy
it's the
season
9th,
still.
10th, and 11th. The 8th, I'm going down to start helping do some stuff. Plus, I'm going to set my booth up. And
That's an easy drive. I can get there pretty easy.
I wanted to say real quick, I can't get on the chat to message anybody. So if you message me, I'm just going to wave like, hello, Hillary. What's wrong? It's this thing. That's what's wrong. So, but I want to say hey to everybody. My buddy Jeff, Jerry, Chadrick.
Yes, sir. Now for the scary question: how's Jeffrey tonight?
Scary question.
I'm good. Nothing crazy happened today. Some things actually fixed themselves that I was working on. That was nice.
Okay.
It's always nice when the manure spreader fixes itself.
Never a dull moment with that boy. I'm telling you, never a dull moment. Scott and Sheila, welcome to the show, and we're gonna. I'm gonna shut up now, and you guys can take it from here. You're in the driver's seat, and tell us all about your. Obviously, you started this business, this outfitters business and stuff, and obviously started having some big. Did you have the Bigfoot stuff before or after, like when you were this thing started?
Before.
Well, before.
Oh, okay. You had actual. Okay, you had experiences before that.
Yeah, we started off with this, and I tell everybody, anybody that's ever heard our story, I was probably the biggest skeptic in the world on the Bigfoot phenomena of anything. I'm from a little town in North Florida, right up close to the Georgia line. I've hunted and fished in the river bottoms and swamps and everything all my life. I mean, I was raised up in the woods. And Sheila started in on me one time about the Bigfoot thing, and let's go do one of these outings or something like that. And I told her, I said, woman, I said, if there was anything like that out there, that
I would have seen it by now.
exactly, I would have already saw something about it.
First of all, I made it. He had never watched The Legend of Boggy Creek, my favorite movie. So I had him watch that. And he, he's still like, you know how people are. If there was anything out there, I would have heard it or seen something by now.
Yeah. And I was that guy. And, but we both retired. We were living down in South Georgia. And she got me to go out and do a few things down there with her and everything. And I did it, for fun and everything to keep
Happy
peace.
wife, happy
That's
life.
right. keep everything like it's supposed to be.
All right.
And it's, anytime you're out in the woods, it's fun anyhow. So we were doing things like that, and then we both retired, moved up to North Georgia, and I'm a member of a group for disabled veterans called Project Healing Waters. It's a fly fishing group, and that got me deep into fly fishing. So moving up to North Georgia was just a bonus for me, on that aspect right there. And I was doing that on a regular basis. And
But we had no aspirations of doing what we're doing now. Not
not
at all.
at that point. And she found a Bigfoot expedition. And she commenced asking me about it. And I said, we are not going to that mess. We're not doing it.
That's a waste of money, blah, blah, blah.
So she kept on. And finally talked me into it. And before the expedition come up, we went over to Clayton, Georgia, and went to a little conference thing there. So we get over there, we meet a lot of nice folks over there, and get to talk with different folks, and go on a little outing hike that day. And it was unique because here we are out on our very first outing hike, and we find, or Sheila finds, probably the best track we've ever found doing this. And I'm looking at this thing, and it's like, amazing to me at this point. I'm like, okay, my eyes are opening a little bit. We met a really good friend during that. He's passed away now. So time goes on, and she finds this expedition, and she begs me, and I finally give in, and we go to it. We show up a day early, and so the friend that we had met was part of that expedition, leading part of it, and he gets with us, and he carries us out the night before anything ever really starts. And he carries us up to an area that he tells us we're going to be going to anyway. And we get up there, and we had some things go on up there that, I tell you what, if there hadn't been 5 people in my truck that night, I would never tell this story.
I wouldn't believe it. Somebody told me.
If somebody had told us anytime, even if somebody told me now this story, I'd kind of have to turn my head a little sideways, and question it a little bit. But there was 5 folks there that witnessed everything we did, and it all had to do with rock clacks. Mm-hmm. And something across the road in front of us as we're going up this little old, and you got to understand we're up here in the North Georgia mountains. These little old mountain roads up here are 2-path. 2 vehicles do not pass on them. I mean, somebody's either backing up the hill or backing down the hill to just wide enough spot to pass.
Sounds like West Virginia.
It is a lot. And we're heading up there.
Hey, he ain't lying. That's right. A lot of the roads, even on some of the curvy roads, are so narrow. But the equipment, you got to think too, the equipment that they had at the time, a lot of these roads were made into the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's not big enough. They blasted a lot of the rock out.
Right.
I mean, yeah, little tiny roads like that. Yeah, they're fun to drive too.
Oh, they are.
Until you meet another car.
Until you meet another car.
Until you meet another car.
Just drive the bigger car.
That's true. We try to be courteous up here to everyone as much as we possibly can. But so something crosses the road in front of my truck, on up ahead of us a little bit, and I hit on the brakes, and Sheila and our friend, they're up there investigating, whatever's crossed this road because limbs are still swinging. Mm-hmm. And me and another young lady are standing right in front of my truck. And I had a Dodge Ram at the time, and I tell that part because Ram's headlights seem to shine out further to the side than most trucks. We're standing there, we're just talking and everything, and the other fella's behind the truck, he's walking around. And we have the whoop right beside us. I mean, not 15 yards from us, and it's loud. And we're all looking at that direction. And I look back at that young lady, and she said, "Did you hear that?" And I'm like, "Well, of course I heard that."
But that answered the question.
Well, that did. That answered one of the questions that Sheila had asked me prior to all that, and we'll get into that in a minute.
Well,
but so we all ease up there to where they're at, and our friend, he's telling us about. Thank you.
But, is that Flat Rock?
It was.
I can't wait to see him.
But we get up there to where they're at, and he's been doing this stuff for years. I mean, decades. And he picks up a couple of rocks. And he said, "I just want to see something." and he clacks rocks a couple times. Well, first time we've ever been up there, so it's dark. We don't know exactly how the lay of the land is or anything, but about 30 yards away from us, rocks clack back. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, something ain't quite right here. And so he clacks again, it clacks back again. He's giggling. So he does the clacking with the rocks, shave and haircut. Tap, 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 tap. It mimics it with rock clack verbatim. I mean, perfectly.
If I hadn't heard that, I'd been like, I don't know what y'all was smoking.
I'm telling you. All of us been there. I would never tell this story. I promise you. So he's giggling to himself a lot, and he tells us at that point, he says, these things are extremely, extremely OCD about things. He said, I just want to see something. So he does the clack, 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 clack. He quits down by the creek, clack, clack.
Yeah.
And I about lose it at this point. I'm like, oh, no.
At this point, I'm thinking, there has to be somebody down there. Somebody's messing with
us. I said, he's got somebody up here. And but where we're at, I assure you, after seeing it in the daytime, there was no one there. I mean, no one around for that. We get onto the top of the hill where we're at. It's like a big giant cul-de-sac up there you could land a helicopter up there if you needed to. I think that's actually part of the purpose of some of them things. But so we're sitting around there, and there's a terrace around the edge of this cul-de-sac like deal up there. And me and Sheila are sitting out behind our truck. I turn my truck, heading out, as you do with anything pretty much. We're sitting there, and they walk off down a trail, and while we're sitting there, this heavy, heavy stomping is walking around this terrace, walking towards the front of my truck. I look over at her, and I said, you know what? I said, let's ease on back to my truck. And she says, why? And that's one questions when we started doing this, I could never get her to stop.
If you're there to see it, and go on towards it.
I tell her something, and she's, why? I'm like, woman, I ain't got time to tell you why right this minute, but I'll explain it later. But right this minute, we need to move. And but she says, why? I said, well, because I really want to get to my truck before something gets between us and my truck. If y'all understand what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
And we're on the way to the truck, and our friend had left his phone on a cord laid on the hood of my truck. Well, the phone lights up, and I thought that's pretty unique. At first I said, well, he must have got a text or something up here. I hadn't even looked at my phone to see we got signal up here. And he gets back, and I said, brother, you got a text or something? I said, your phone lit up. He said, what do you mean my phone lit up? I said, well, we were walking on the way back to the truck. I said, that phone lit up. He said, the only way that phone lights up is if you touch it. And I said, no. I said, it probably light up for some other reasons. He said, no. He said, I'm telling you. He said, and he showed us that the only way that phone would light up is if you reached up and touched the screen. So he plays the recording back while we're there. And you can hear something walk up to the truck on the recording, lean over the truck, breathing, and evidently it touches that telephone. It's super heavy.
Yeah.
And so then the expedition starts.
No, that night. Remember the night?
It's that night. That night we get back to the camp. We get in the tent. Something comes walking in our campsite.
You could hear it coming down the ridge on two legs. Walking part's the best part to me when you hear that.
And you can definitely tell it was on two legs walking in. It had to walk across the small creek right there by our tent. So it walks across that creek and walks right up to our tent and is standing over our tent, and it kind of huffs.
He goes like it's exasperated. You know that sound? And I'm like, Scott. He said, I hear it. And then it just turns around.
It turned around, walked off. Well, at this point in life for me, I said, you know what? There's something to this. There's a little more to this than I understand. So we started in on the
No, you're missing it. So I'm up there by myself. Because we were in the process of moving from South Georgia to North Georgia. So we had at least a small cabin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, small, like you had to go outside and change your mind. It's like 800 square foot. And I was there by myself, just me and a couple of the small killer dogs I have. And I would hear stuff, I was working at the time. I went back to nursing school and finished my nursing, was in and out doing that. But I'd be out on the porch in the evenings and I'd be on the phone with him. And I'd hear something go whoop, across the road. Nobody's around. Nobody. The river's right there. And I asking myself, what kind of bird makes a whooping sound? I had no clue until that night we were with John and them, and I heard that whoop. And it's like, well, I won't say what I thought, but.
Yeah. But when she had me on the phone and asked me, says, what kind of bird makes a whooping sound? I said, you know what a whippoorwill sounds like. She said, it's not a whippoorwill. And I said, honey, there ain't no bird that makes a whoop sound at night like that, like what you're describing to me. And so I'd be running back and forth, bringing stuff up to the cabin, and getting us all moved up. And the reason she was by herself is after she retired, she decided to grow up and become a hospice nurse.
I'm never growing up. I'm never growing up.
And so we were getting ready to move up here. She applied to a place and they took her. I mean, bam, right off the bat. So we had to get her on up here. So that left us selling our home down south and moving up as we could. And so I would make it back to the small cabin, and then all of a sudden the tree knock started around the cabin. I mean, it sounded like Babe Ruth down there in the woods.
And he still didn't. At that time when we were at the cabin, he still don't believe any of this stuff. I mean, I would have handprints on the back of my big old greasy handprints on the back of my Jeep. You couldn't miss them. It wasn't his hands. It was bigger. There were times he wasn't there. I would start having little rocks, pebbles thrown at the house, at the windows. So I was sleeping in the living room. I had a shotgun on this side, and I had a Glock right here. If it come through the door, me or him one wasn't gonna make it. Whatever it was at that time, I didn't know, but I knew something was there. But he still.
Yeah, at that point in time, that's prior to us going on the expedition. I'm still, nah, this ain't going on or anything. But anyway, jump forward a little bit. We go to the expedition. My eyes open a little bit. I said, you know what? There might be a little something to this. I'm an open-minded person.
Sorry, guys, I had an emergency there.
That's all right. And so we continue on with it. And as time went on, I started seeing things and hearing things and all. And
footprint.
And the footprint. And it dawned on me, I have been hearing these things and seeing these things all my life, and I didn't know it. I didn't realize it. Because I started reflecting back on my time in the woods and swamps and everything. And so then my eyes really started opening a little bit more. But I wasn't 100% convinced at this point in our time frame in this. I wasn't really totally convinced until we were in an area. We were actually scouting for an expedition for another group. And me, Sheila, and that same friend of ours, and she hollers for me. And this actually turned out to be her very first sighting. And I'll let you tell that whole story.
Yeah, we had all those experiences, but I always said I wouldn't say they were real until I saw one with my own eyes. I just couldn't, I got to lay eyes on it. Other than that, it's just something I have there's something there, but I don't know what. And we were walking around. I did not have my cell phone. And honestly, I usually carry in the woods because I'm terrified of wild hogs. That's my biggest fear is the wild hogs. I know they'll put you up a tree real quick.
You got to be careful with them.
Yeah. And this was in September, so there wasn't a whole lot of foliage still on the trees. We went around to one other place to go look up it, and it was a ridge. So while I had momentum, I started on up the ridge there and got to the top, and I thought that Scott and John were behind me. Well, they were down there looking at some other tree, and something been grabbing a hold of the tree. So I'm overlooking the ridge down there, and I'm looking at our cars way down there. And just to get an idea of how the roads are going in there. So I hear something about my 4 o'clock. And now I realize it was like a tongue clack. I don't know if y'all have heard the tongue clacks. So I take a step back and I look at about my 4 o'clock. And about 25 yards away, because you're looking at these bunch of trees. And you're looking and I see a little bit of movement, just a little bit of sway, so I'm trying. It's like my mind is not registering what my eyes are seeing. If that's the only way, it shouldn't have been there. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So I say, Scott, and he's still down the ridge, and this thing it's behind a tree, and it's got his hands around the tree. This shoulder's on that side, but the right shoulder's still on the other side of the tree. And it's looking at me. Like I tell everybody, we had eye contact, no doubt whatsoever. He saw me, I saw him, and it's swaying a little bit more. And I said, Scott, like that, you know. And this thing just dropped like a puff of smoke, you know. Apparently went on all fours. I didn't realize till they got up there and I ran over there, it was like on a decline. So if I had called that out of the radio's description, I would have said, you know, like 6.5 foot tall. But once I got over there, I realized it would have been much taller.
Much taller. She called me the second time, and I realized there was a lot of intensity in her voice at that point. So we hustled on up there where she was at, and I tell everybody this part is funny. It's still funny to me because I can visualize it so easy. I have my very own life-size Tickle Me Elmo at this point because she is vibrating from her chin. And I mean, just like total vibrating. And I'm like, what in the world? And she says, I just saw it. It's right over there. And I said, where was that? And she points at the tree. And I asked her, I said, well, how tall is that thing? And she points at a point on the tree and shows me where the top of his head was. Well, I stay still right there and keep eyes on that spot. They go over there. And I didn't even realize there was that much of a drop on the backside of that tree. When they went by that tree, they went down. I'm like, oh, wow. And our friend John, was 6'3". He had to reach up, and he just could get his hand to the spot on that tree where she was telling me the top of his head was. And so at that point, I ease on over there. They said, you got to come on over here and you got to see this. So I get over there, and remember I told you I've hunted and fished all my life. And if you're going to hunt something and any type of big game predator type animal, and you're wanting to know what he's eating.
We call Scott a hockeyologist there. He'll get down there, you know, look at the scat and see what it is. So that's what he was doing. He was down there because there were y'all. It was just, I don't know how else to explain it. Either I scared the crap out of him or something.
It was fresh. It was, if it had been cooler, they'd have been smoke rolling off of it. And we laugh a little bit about it. And she either caught him in the middle of the act or she scared him.
I wonder we wasn't equal.
Yeah. But so they're both like, you got to get over here and come take a look at this. And I do. And I'm like, oh my God, when I get over there, you know, I'm kind of amazed. And she shows us the direction this thing takes off. And you can see where it was pulling with his hands and driving with his feet as he left out of there on all fours. And we track it down to a ravine down there. And the ravine's about 15 yards across it, about 15 feet deep. Well, this thing didn't go down through that ravine. It jumped it. You can see where it landed in on the other side. And our old buddy John, I told you he's 6'3", or was 6'3". He like a mountain goat. He's down through that ravine up the other side. But he's up on the other side. He finds them tracks and everything. He tracks it on in his foliage and everything and loses the tracks. Comes back and we're discussing it, and we get back over to Sheila, and she's still, you know, still vibrating a little bit at this point. And it took her about 3 days.
Yeah, I kept trying to convince him. It's like I know what I saw, but I couldn't say I'd seen it before, obviously. But it just shouldn't have been there. It's like, you know, I tell everybody, when your grandma tells you boogers aren't real, well, that was a lie. It was like, okay, what else is a lie, you know? Because I saw it.
Yeah.
And I think he meant for me to see him, because I was looking a whole different direction until I heard the tongue clack, and I looked that direction, and you know, I didn't feel scared. I really didn't feel like my life was threatened or anything like that. I felt like he was very curious, but I wasn't trying to be a forest bride either, you know?
Yeah. Now I got a question. How big was that pile?
There is. I'll send you a picture. There's actually pictures of it on TikTok.
On our TikTok.
Oh, okay.
Diameter of a Coke can and probably about 3 times that length. The picture, there is a shoe in that picture with it to give it scale. That shoe's a 13 and a half. Just to give an idea of scale.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Wow.
it took me about 3 days, especially on the way home. I looked at Scott and said, that couldn't be real. That had to be a bear, but I knew it wasn't a bear. This thing had no shoulders. It was huge, but to me, I know people have sightings and say it looks like a giant ape, but it didn't. It looked more human to me, especially in the face. It wasn't.
It didn't have a lot of hair or anything.
There was no hair on its face. It looked like old dry clay, old leather. You know what I mean? Biggest thing that impressed me was the shoulders, because, like I say, this was on one side of the tree and this shoulder was on the other side of the tree.
Yeah, I don't understand why they think they can hide behind that, because
moose do the same thing. A lot of those big predatory or big animals like that, they think because they can't see you, you can't see them. So
it's like a cow hiding behind there. Like,
yeah,
it's looking out on.
But honestly, like I told Scott, I said, if it wanted me, if it wanted to do any kind of harm, whatever, it had me. There was nothing I could do. I couldn't even, I wouldn't have thought about taking a picture. I wouldn't have thought about picking up a gun. It's just like, because you're looking at it and you're like, things that are going through your mind are just.
Yeah. And for me, at that point right there, because she had seen it and was telling me about it and explaining to me what she'd seen, well, then I believed, 110%. I mean, when your wife's telling you something that she's just witnessed and saw like that, that's pretty convincing to you.
Smart thinking.
Well, especially with us, because we're, pretty tight knit, and we're steady getting ready for this expedition coming up in that area. And 2 weeks later, right at 2 weeks, we're in the campsite that she was looking at from the top of that ridge. And one of our friends hollers to me, he says, "Hey, something just moved up on that ridge." And I'm looking up there and I'm studying on the ridge real hard, and I find him. And he's standing up there between two trees. He's not at the top of the ridge. He's down on the side of it a little bit. And he's like a cinnamon color brown.
Yeah.
And he blended into the dead leaves and everything. They're so good. It was unreal how well he blended in. And I always tell everybody, a man in a ghillie suit couldn't have blended in that good. And the only reason I really saw him was because of his face, because he didn't have hardly any hair on his face, and that grayish looking clay color kind of stood out up there. So I tell our friend, I said, "I see him," and I'm trying to explain to him where he's standing at, and he from where he's at, he never can see. And the thing is not looking at me; it's looking at him. It's got his head turned, and it's looking over at him. So he walks over towards my truck, and as he walks over towards my truck, I keep my eyes on this thing, and he watches him walk over my truck the whole way. And I'm telling him where he's at, and he's like, "Scott, I don't see what you're talking about." So I made the mistake of reaching over his shoulder and pointing at this thing. And the moment I pointed at him, he dropped down and took off, went across the top of that ridge. An Olympic athlete or a deer is not that fast. He dropped down to all fours, and I'm glad he did that so I could see him run on all fours, because their running ability on all fours is phenomenal. The way they drive with their back feet, or drive with their feet and pull with their hands as they go. Yeah. It's kind of like watching a big cat lunging out, stretching out, and going. And he crossed a distance of over 40 yards in just a little bit. I mean, wow. Flashing an eye.
Well, how far was it from you when you took off?
About 75 yards. Ooh. And that 75 yards, it's not straight 75 yards. It's 20 yards to the edge of the ridge and then starting up 75 yards up. And so it's pretty close.
That's damn close. That's awesome.
Yeah, mine was like 25 yards away. I mean, if he wanted me, I was done. And that's, people ask us, weren't you get scared going in the woods? Well, there's nothing I can do that's going to stop anything.
I think you were fine being that you interrupted him during his.
Something happened.
Something happened. Yeah, definitely.
So that was a big game changer for you then.
It really was. It was. Yeah. I mean, that was the game changer for me. Right. Sheila seeing it convinced me 100%, but then me seeing it my very own self, and I tell everybody and anyone, once you see one of these things and you see it for your own self, there's something changes about you.
No more deniability.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
I haven't even had a full on look at one, but I've been close enough in some I don't work on deer stands after dark anymore on the.
Yes, you do.
I don't do that shit anymore.
I haven't even seen one, but the fact that I've been a part of probably 300 interviews and everybody that, what they talk about, I believe they're there. But, when you hear, experiences like yours, it's like, wow,
The thing is,
Whether
there's
go
a
ahead,
lot.
Gary.
I'm sorry, a lot of similarities, but
Mhm.
there's always a new
Oh, sure.
finding or a new story to
Yeah.
put with
But
it.
Jerry,
Similarity,
the one the one that you saw in the window when you were a kid, it had pretty much a face like that, didn't it?
it had some hair stringing down off the upper cheekbones.
Yeah, it had a little bit of hair. Yeah.
Yeah, not nothing like not fuzzy hairy, but and I mean big.
Did it look more human or the one you saw in the face?
It has some human, but you gotta understand that's a long time. It's 1972. But, it had some human similarities, but the eyes and the cheekbones are just freaking huge.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, the eyes on these things impress me because of the size of them. And since we've been doing this for a long time now, I think the size of their eyes definitely correlates in their night vision. The
Yes.
gathering of light and everything. And I'm also one of those people that I don't believe that they can make their eyes glow.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't go to that direction with it.
It's just probably
There's
the
really
way
no
the
proof
light,
for
the
me.
moon, or
Yeah.
whatever hits their
Yeah.
eyes. Like an
Just
animal.
like a deer or
Right, their
cat
eyes
or
are
whatever.
so large that the least little bit of ambient light can cause them to have eye shine.
Yes.
And that's my theory on it. After seeing one and seeing how their eyes are.
My question is, if people see them in the daylight, if they look milky, like how can I explain? Like I guess glowing eyes, or like a cat or something. It's been mentioned before. In my particular instance, I remember seeing like a milky cover on the eyes.
No,
Haven't
the
seen
ones
that.
I've seen.
And I know, and they say it's black, but this had just
Maybe
a slight milky. It could have been a glare.
Or
I was
here's
just fixing to ask you, didn't you see him through a window pane?
Yes, yes,
That could have had a little something to do with that.
could be.
maybe it had cataracts.
Could be.
You can't overrule that. I mean,
Yeah.
That's true. It could be, but
there's no experts in this field, so who's to say that they're not like us and have things like that?
But you
there's no doubt.
talk about any light getting in their eyes, and that's what makes their eyes glow. I mean, we know that deer and cats do the same thing. So I would assume since it can see well at night, it's got the same. I don't know what that's called with those animals and what the reflection of the light is, but obviously living in an area where there's no street lights and being in the dark all the time, they probably have, like a cat. What is that noise?
You're on the movie.
It's my dog crying over
It's
here.
that
Oh,
killer
no, it's
you've got over there. He's
No, it sounds like something.
crickets and stuff.
They're like crickets.
Cicadas?
Yeah. Interesting.
What kind of little dog man you got running around?
I got 4 of them. We'll give away for cheap.
well. We've got one Dachshund, a pair of Yorkies,
And this is the crybaby.
and a Chihuahua,
Oh, Lord.
And a crazy bird.
and a crazy bird.
Crazy.
And if I would let her have them, she'd have every animal.
I'd start a Bigfoot rehabilitation.
Sounds like my wife.
Sounds like my wife.
Animals. She had a way. We'd have this whole property here would be a sanctuary.
Ours too.
I have 3 dogs, and that's it in here. And then I got like 200 cows, chickens, and
Well, see, the problem is I'd name every one of them cows. And if I named them, you couldn't kill them.
Yeah.
That's the problem on the deer population right now.
I don't have a problem naming it before I eat it.
Are you going to name it breakfast?
We also have milk cows, so they get different.
Oh.
They get
Different treatment, different priority.
yeah.
I tried to get him to bring me home, what do they call it, a red dog, the baby buffaloes, but he wouldn't go for it.
We didn't have enough room in the truck, but
Oh boy.
it was funny. But and after we both had our experiences and all, we continued on doing the things we were doing, and I had started a fly fishing guide service, and we were both wanting to continue on with the Bigfooting idea. And it seemed like a lot of the places that we had a lot of folks, would talk to us and everything. And ask us about things about it, but they didn't want to spend as much money to go and do things as a lot of places were charging. We got thinking about it. We said, you know what? I believe we could do this, and make it affordable where anyone that wanted to could possibly go and do this. So we got looking more and more into it, and that's how Squatch-Fishing Outfitters
Took a year and a half just to get the federal permits and get all the paperwork. It was crazy.
Wow.
To get all that put together, and so that's what we did.
And we didn't know what we were doing. We'd done the first one, and the first one it turned out better than we hoped
anyone
for.
could have ever dreamed of.
That's not saying that every one we have activity, because it don't happen every time. But the times it happens, it's like it is crazy, and the people that come are just beside themselves. This last couple of months, we had three ladies that come, and it was on one's bucket list, and they really were not anticipating anything because the weather was just awful. It was just, rainy and foggy. And that first night out, it was a game changer. I mean, I had one of them climbing up me like a redwood. She was terrified. A bullfrog hollered, and she was about gone. And I had to grab her. And then when they saw, everybody there saw what they saw. I went back and I think I had PTSD.
It was an amazing night. It really was. We got to film one on thermal. For quite a while, got to film him walking down through the woods and walking around a corner. We was trying to get down to the corner to him. Before we got down to the corner, where it looked like he had crossed over, either he doubled back on us a little bit, or there was another one in there with him. And while we were running the thermal there, the wind was in this thing's favor. Old doe deer comes walking in, makes 2 or 3 circles, and beds down not 40 yards from this thing.
Oh boy.
And so we're walking down there in the red eye shine, and I'm 6 foot tall. The red eye shine is above me as we're walking down there to it. And I told everybody, I said, everybody kill your lights. And so everybody kills their lights, and we still have the red eye shine. Because we use red headlamps and everything, and I didn't want that red headlamp to be reflecting off of something on a tree or something, and give us a false look. So everybody kills their lights, and we still have this big red eye shine. And this eye shine is the size of, each eyeball is about the size of the bottom of a solo cup, and about 5 inches apart.
I could believe what I was actually looking at. You hear about eye shine. I haven't seen a whole lot of eye shine. I've heard red, blue, and I've heard all the covers and everything. But to sit there and watch something with these, and it wasn't an owl. They were far apart. To just blink, and the way it moved, it was like it was here 1 second, and boom. I mean, it was just unbelievably. The video is on TikTok, as a matter of fact.
But so I turned my light back on. And I told everybody, stay right there. And I eased down towards it. I got within about 40 yards of it. And I could see him with my eyes. And I was sitting there with the thermal on him, just waiting for him to step on out so I could hit the record button, get a little better recording of him. And when I got down there closer to him, Sheila started telling me, she said, you better get back up this way. You need to come on back this way. And I'm watching him. He's tucked in behind 2 trees, but I can see his outline a little bit. And I'm thinking to myself, come on, big boy, step on out. Let me get a good picture of you here. And that rascal blinked at me 3 times. I mean, blink, blink, blink. And I thought to myself, that deer's laying right there. That's my nice way of him telling me is I wore out my welcome. So we ease on out. And we eased on back to the trucks and everything. And one of the young ladies that was with us was supposed to go out the next night. She didn't go out the next night. She couldn't get that eye shine out of her mind. And her friends say that she still has a little trouble with that.
Yeah, the other 2 ladies have signed up to come back, but the third one won't.
Well, when you go out in the woods, probably been out in the woods her whole life as a kid, grow up, you're probably out in the woods. And then you see something like that. Yeah, it probably doesn't, you don't want to go back out anymore because now they're there, and
your reality changes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, when you know there's something else out
Rivers are
there that
real.
you
I like that.
when you find out
Mhm.
there's something else
Yeah,
in the
that's for
woods,
sure.
it's like you said about being in the woods all that time. You know, I crawled around in the woods up
Yeah.
until I was 17 and never had a damn. I mean, I believed in the stuff, but I didn't think they were in Maryland on the back of the farm right next to the damn golf course. I didn't think that
Mhm.
was a thing until that thing was screaming at me. And that was when everything,
Yeah.
that was when
Here we go,
you-
Chad.
You were probably like me, Jeff. You know, I grew up and I read all the cryptid books, the Loch Ness Monster and the Abominable
Yeah.
Snowman. And, you know, I thought that Bigfoot lived in Oregon and that was the only
yeah,
place he lived.
exactly.
It was
There was
one.
one.
You know?
Just
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, there's one, and he lived somewhere in the Pacific Northwest, and
And he was by himself. He was lonely. And
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah. That ain't quite the case.
yeah.
But so
Do you have a monkey, Chad?
hang on a second.
Somebody's asking.
You were free. A little bit.
Okay.
To have a monkey.
So anyway, we get our first expedition, going and everything, and God rest in peace for him. Mr. Bob Wilson.
Y'all remember him?
No.
He was grumpy on killing Bigfoot.
He was such a nice
He's
guy.
a super fantastic gentleman. He was a good friend of ours, and he attended our very first outing, our very first expedition we put on.
I know who you're talking about.
And he commended us highly on that thing and everything. And he said y'all are doing it right, so keep it up. So that tickled us real good, on our expedition outings and everything. And we started from there, and continued on with it. And we're
This is our
in
fifth season.
Fifth season with it. We've afforded a lot of people the opportunity to have their very own sightings and encounters, and
we have fun. That's the best part.
that's the biggest thing.
We do. We have fun.
And
Well, it's good. I think if you went in, when you take a group in, you kind of want to make it fun because the last thing you want to do is scare the shit out of people before you
And
go
that's,
into the
yeah.
woods.
I think people think that they think, do I have somebody hiding in the woods? No, I promise you one thing, you will never purposely get scared.
No.
Nobody will scare you like that.
And we tell everyone, when they go with us, there's no one here to try to scare you or anything like that. If you do get spooked up or anything, let us know. That's what we're here for, because we don't want anyone to ever get terrorized and not want to go back in the woods. I mean, that's not the idea.
We just, okay.
I can't hear you, Danny.
Mm-mm-mm.
You're muted, Danny.
Yeah.
He's not
Okay,
muted
here
on the
you
thing.
I'll
He
see
can
that.
hear
No,
us.
he's not muted. Huh.
Okay. What were you saying, Danny?
He
Can
You
you
try-
can't.
What about now?
There you
yeah,
go.
I can hear you now.
Okay, sorry about that. I was just wondering, when you was walking upon this thing, and about how far. I mean, was the terrain like a hill, or was it kind of flat? Or
Flat.
It was
We were
flat.
on an old logging road, and it was flat.
Mm.
And I didn't tell you the part that was the best part was after he blinked at me 3 times, that thing rose up 1.5 feet.
So he was scrunched down.
Yes.
Yeah, go on TikTok and look at that video because all of a sudden the lights blink, the eyes blink, and they're here, and then all of a sudden they're up there, and you're like, did he
Oh,
just stand
He
up?
stood up. He just slowly rose up about 1.5 feet.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
I have a question while you're here.
Okay.
I guess I'll have to break down and get TikTok. Where would
Yes,
I find you? Where would I find you guys at TikTok?
It's under our name, Squatch-Fishing.
Fishing out. Did we freeze
Okay.
up again?
Hello.
Yeah, you were freezing up, but I got
It
you.
was
Oh, it's a
all.
little
Try it again.
Okay.
Everything of ours is under Squatch-Fishing Outfitters.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna
And
check that
I
out
try
right
to
now.
post most videos we have on there. Although here lately it's probably going to be most of them from out west.
Yeah, you might have to scroll back a little bit. She got a little happy out west posting videos.
Yeah, I saw some of your YouTube or Facebook stuff that you put on there from out
Did
west.
you guys have anything happen while you were out west?
No, we didn't. We actually didn't do a lot of
We were in the woods.
brush busting around, looking
Yeah, we were
like
primitive.
like we thought we were going to do. We spent most of our time, primitive camping,
Chasing chipmunks.
and fly fishing.
I wanted to catch a chipmunk, but
Chipmunks. No elk or
those jokers
squirrel
are
or-
fast.
I mean,
Well, he
Oh,
was to eat it,
No, yeah, I was highly intent on all the grocery store places.
would she have brought home a buffalo if she
Yeah,
could?
like I said, and we're in our 5th season now.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Danny. That's what my fear is. That I'm gonna walk up.
I had Mark Google and talked into bringing me 2 miniature donkeys. Scott nipped in the bud.
The thing was, I knew Mark would brought them.
Scott's gonna
All she
come
had to do
home
was
one
say
day
she
and she's
wanted
gonna
these.
have a chipmunk family in the house. That's what's gonna happen.
Yep.
I did have a baby squirrel. I had a baby squirrel and I named him Hemi. And he was doing good. He was nursing good. And I got called out to see a patient and I was gone for a few hours and I come back. He met me on the back door steps. He was like, I got something to tell you. Hemi didn't make it. I was sad and everything, but I knew he fell out of a tree, so I wasn't sure. So that's how I ended up getting my Dotson, my little doggy Dotson, my holy terror.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was my.
Wait a minute. Wait, you had a pet squirrel, and the pet squirrel made you go get a dachshund?
He passed. We couldn't
he
save him.
passed.
He passed, and so I told Scott, I said, "Well, Ben Hemi passed. Can I get?" I already had the dog named and everything, so we got Lollipop.
Mm-hmm.
Checking out the thermal clip now.
Which one?
I don't know.
There's
Big
one.
six, 4.2 of 26.
So, do you guys have any Bigfoot trophies? Something you found in the woods, or
Yeah,
you know,
I got a rock.
I was
You
going to
kept
say
a
a
rock?
rock,
Okay.
probably.
That's a story within itself. Go ahead.
I've got one of those infamous blue balloons that everybody talks about.
What is the deal with that? Those Mylar balloons?
I don't know.
maybe they suck the
Yeah.
helium out.
And I know another guy up here that found another one on my place stuffed under a stump of all places. And then he found one in another place up the road in PA that was like wedged under a log.
We've heard a lot about that. I don't know.
We
the
have
deal.
heard a
bunch
lot
of
about
snapped
it.
off trees too that were this big around, and they were all broke about 8 foot up, and there was nothing laying there where something could have fell.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow. But yeah, I played slingshot with I believe they were juvenile. This is crazy. I know. Juvenile Bigfoots. Our first expedition, they had started, these jokers like to throw little rocks up here. So they had been throwing at the only male in my group. He took out a group. I took out a group. The male was sitting around the campfire with us and started throwing rocks through the trees. And he was about to freak out. He said, "Did you see that?" I said, "Yeah, I've seen it." And I said, "Do you see who they're throwing it at? The only male in the bunch." Yeah. So I was like, well, I had a little slingshot. So they'd throw a little rock and I would, toss a rock with a slingshot the opposite direction. So I didn't want to hit one. But this went on for about 20 minutes, y'all. I'm telling you, everybody on the expedition was freaking out like, what's up there? What could be doing that?
Mm-hmm.
So me and a few of the ladies were sitting around the campfire and some of them had walked off doing their little hiking thing. And they come back a few minutes later and I asked Scott, I said, "Can you go with me behind my Jeep to the little girl's room?" And because it was dark. So we walked back there and the Jeep was right there. I could have reached out and touched it from where I was sitting. And on my back fender was this big river rock sitting there. Now it wasn't thrown. My Jeep wasn't dented, wasn't no scratch or anything. It was just sitting there. I mean, I literally just I told Scott, I said, "We're engaged." He gave me a rock.
And what was really cool about that rock, it had been rolled around in the red clay, and been clayed up. But there's no creek up there where we're at. There's no creek for a few miles.
Oh, it cared.
I know he's like thanking me for playing.
That rock got brought to that area.
It packed a rock for a while, and it's like,
So
no, I'm gonna give it to Sheila.
Did you keep the red clay on it? I mean,
Yeah.
now
It's in her curio cabinet over here.
awesome. That's awesome.
That's for sure.
We've had some crazy stuff.
We
Yeah.
really have had some crazy things happen. We finally bought our home that we have now, and it was a vacation home. One of the game wardens that was in this area had built this home, but it was their vacation home. They lived over in Carrollton, Georgia, and they just come over here for the weekend or whatever, just vacation. So he passed, and they put the house up for sale, and we looked up and found it and purchased the place. Had no idea when we bought this place the amount of activity and everything that was going on right here in this holler. And didn't take but about 2 weeks though of living here, we started finding that out. We were getting the side of the house slapped, the gas tank slapped,
Meter box.
That was one of their most favorite things to slap was our meter box.
I can't tell you how many times we would come out of the bed. Scott would be running, clearing the house and everything. It's got to a point where he gets up to clear the house. I just lay there, roll over, go back to sleep. He's gonna come in. He's coming in.
Yeah.
And one of the coolest things during all that time was we had floodlights on every corner of the house, but they were all on switches. So I go to turn the switch on one day to turn the lights on in the back of the house, and lights didn't come on. I was like, well, darn. I said, we never have replaced these lights, probably just blowed bulbs. And so I throw the switch back off, and I'm walking off. I said, that's awful. That's awful coincidental. Both bulbs blow at the same time.
Uh-huh.
So next day I get, and it takes a 12-foot A-frame ladder now to get to these lights. So I get my ladder out, and I get me 2 new bulbs, and I run up the ladder and change them. And I grab a hold of that first one, it's loose. It takes me 4 quarter turns to tighten that light bulb back up. So I reach over and grab the other one, and it's the same way. And I'm thinking about that real hard, and I lay them light bulbs down. I run back down that ladder, and I run through that switch on, them lights come on.
Yep.
I was like, okay. I left right then, went to the lovely Walmart, and picked me up 2 motion detector double head lights, installed them babies. So that night I'm laying there in the bed because we can see when them lights come on in the bed. And I'm laying there, I'm twiddling my thumbs, just waiting. I really am.
Like he's trying to catch a raccoon in the garbage.
Yeah. Well, they didn't come on the first night, but they did come on the second night.
Big old raccoon.
Yeah, and I was laughing my head off. I was like, yeah, I got y'all now. But, and I told y'all Sheila's a hospice nurse. So she would get called out at night. So we set one set of lights up. So when she pulled into the house, lights would turn on. So she'd have, good light to walk in the house. She comes in one evening and tells me, she says, hey, them lights didn't come on. I walk over and look, make sure the switch is on. And sure enough, it's on. I'm like, what in the world? And I'm thinking to myself, they done this again. So I walk out there, and they had, but what they had done was the meter head, the infrared head where you set it to make them turn on. They had pushed that all the way up to the soffit of the house. And I grab it and try to pull it back down, and the teeth on this thing are so thick and heavy, I was scared I was going to break it. I had to take the light completely apart, to move that head back down. That's happened a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're not the only ones out here.
No.
This is a dead end old dirt road that's not, county maintained or anything. So we're like the third house, and we can't see each other's houses or anything. But yeah, the neighbor down the end of the road, he's lived out here for 24 years. He saw one on the road. He'll text, if we're in the house, he'll text and tell Scott to step outside because they'll be
howling up here on the bridges and stuff.
That's not unusual. We had two or three guys that come out here to put that little metal carport thing up, and it was late in the evening. And they started howling, and one of them looked at Scott. What he said?
They were Hispanic young gentlemen, and super
Ah.
nice guys.
They were
Real
done.
good English. He looked at me. He says, "What was that?" Now the wording was a little different. But, we have about a 3 foot tall, Bigfoot statue right there at the back steps. When he asked me what that was, I looked down at that statue and pointed at it. He said, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yeah." And it was getting close to dusk. He said, "Do you mind if we come back and finish this in the morning?" And I said, yeah. And they did. They come back first thing next morning and finished up. He asked me, he said, "Did that screaming, any more of that screaming happen after we left?" I said, "Oh yeah, that happens every evening pretty much."
Especially in the spring and the fall.
Yes.
How did you bring this up with your neighbor? You said there's only like 3 houses. Did you guys discuss this in conversation just by passing one day, or?
He had found out through David Becerra at the museum that we had moved out here, and he found out it was us, and that just he was
it.
down here. Yeah, he was.
He was tickled to death because he had someone that he could talk to about the situation.
That's awesome.
And
Okay.
he had put out some recording devices for David and was carrying the recording devices back and forth to David. He'd been talking with him about them. And when he carried the recording device back to David one time, he says, told him about us. And he says, I think they just moved out there right beside you. And so he come down and introduced himself, and it started off from there. It's been a great friendship ever
That's
since.
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
Now,
see,
what
Dave
about
Bones. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What about the other neighbor?
There's 2 ladies out here that are widow
That
ladies.
widow ladies, bless her heart, they lived out here forever, and you rarely see them. I think they come out to go to church on Sundays, but other than that, I don't think they would say. I mean, even if they would realize it, does that make any
They prob-
sense?
Yeah.
It's probably like the little old lady from Lake Placid that had the big gator. That's probably what they do. They probably feed
They
Bigfoot.
probably are. That'd
Yeah.
be my luck. But I'm like, I want to know, but I don't want to ask them and scare them. Does that make any sense? I don't want to make them nervous or anything.
Right.
Now, is your
Yeah.
house the farthest back of
No.
the
We're the
house?
third.
We're the
third
third.
of 5.
Okay.
And it's our neighbor that he's down there at the very end. It's like an amphitheater because we're like in the basin part of these 3 mountains. And it gets crazy. He texted one night and told Scott to go on the porch, and Scott went on the front porch and stood out there for a minute, and he said, come here. So I go stand out there, and behind our house, and beside our house, there's a path. I call it the Pit Cemetery path because that's where they run, from there to the creek down there. There's a creek behind the ridge. And so I was standing out for a minute, and y'all, the worst sound. I got chill bumps now even thinking about it. It sounded like a war cry, and it was right there at that water. And only thing I could do was when a rabbit gets scared, he just stops. I mean, I just done like, oh my God.
She hunkered down, and it probably wasn't 10 seconds after that one cut loose, one on the ridge in front of the house. It cut loose, and that same type scream. And that type scream was different. I mean, it really was.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Because it wasn't too awful long after that. Down the holler a little bit, you could hear it going on down there. I mean, it sounded like 2 titans going after it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh yeah, and that and I'm not gonna say that's a common thing around here, but we do hear it every once in a while.
When we first bought the house, moved in, we were telling our adult kids, about it, and they just thought, "Oh my God, their cheese has done slipped. We're going to have them committed before long." They thought we was crazy doing this. And my daughter-in-law was the biggest skeptic. She just thought we were back crap crazy. So we all went to bed one evening, and her and my son, and they have 2 small children. They were back there in the guest bedroom, and she got up and came out here on the couch to stretch out. She said. And we have a front porch right here by the couch she was on. She says, I'm telling you, I heard something open the gate, something heavy walk on the porch and jiggle the doorknob. She said, I got up, took my butt back there to that bedroom, under bed with Matthew. And she said it was a couple of minutes later, something underneath that window. This is a high window, about 9 foot tall.
Yeah.
Starts tapping, like with 2 fingers tapping under the window.
I chastised her the next morning. I said, young lady, I said, if something's trying to wiggle the doorknob on the house, you need to be waking me up.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking about that at the point in time.
None of our kids will go outside after dark now.
No, they were actually, 3 of them were sitting out at the fire pit one evening and had a tree break on them right there at the driveway. And I don't know what all else they heard, but the tree break was enough for them. They all shucked it on inside the house. They will not go outside at night here.
So they know
Another really good one.
They know all your stories and everything, not stories,
Oh,
but
yeah.
experiences.
Oh yeah, they know it. Yeah.
My baby brother was the best of all. He found out we were into this and all. He looked at me. He said, Scotty, he says, come on now. He says, you are a military trained law enforcement officer. He said, you're going to tell me that you believe in all this. I told him, I said, Eric, I said, I've actually seen these things. And he said, okay. Well, he come and spent one weekend at our home in his travels. And he left our home that weekend a believer after the things he saw around here and heard. He said, yeah, there's definitely something to that.
Wow.
And he was just like me. He's been in the woods and everything all his life. And the things he heard up here, he'd never heard any of that.
I think it was was empty for a while.
Yeah.
I think, like for me, as a kid, my dad always took me hiking. I mean, we probably weren't in the most secluded areas, but we went hiking in the woods and everything. And you really don't pay attention to the sounds. You hear sounds all the time, but when you're more in a more desolate area and you start hearing sounds that that start questioning, that would kind of be freaky for sure.
Yeah, like when you're hunting in the woods and you hear what sounds like somebody building a house in the middle of the
Or we've heard
forest.
the metal door sounds that
That's what
people
you
say
heard?
they've heard.
I've heard what sounds like somebody, building, like they're just out there hammering boards together, and I'm thinking, who's down in there?
Right. Yeah.
And there's no one down there.
After I got screamed at, that's when everything started clicking together. Like, now I know what it was.
Yeah, we had another expedition. I think he's probably still on here. Flat Rock was with us. He went on us on that expedition. And he got one of his best videos on that expedition. He got to film one with a thermal for a good while. When we were on our way back off that hike, and one of the gentlemen that was with us, he's a retired law enforcement officer from up in Virginia. Him and his wife got him that expedition for his retirement and his birthday. And he was all excited and everything. And they had heard them before up in Virginia, around close to their house and everything, screaming and howling. But they come with us, and him and her both got to see one on thermal. He got to see one do something up until that point I'd never seen, but I was glad I got to see that. He got to watch one go from a standing position to lay down and snuggle up to like a log trying to hide.
Okay.
And he watched all this on thermal. And so that, that was really super cool. We're on our way back walking out, and Flat Rock was right behind me and this guy. And he stopped me. He said, hey, is that eye shine up there? And I'm looking at it. I said, turn your lights off. We turn our red lights off, and the eyes are still there. I said, huh? I said, well, hang on a second. I pulled a really super bright white light out of my pocket and threw that white light on him. And right there he was, plain as day. And he took off as soon as that white light hit him, but he got to see him real good. As soon as I threw that white light on and that thing took off, a rock come flying in right in front of me and this guy and hit in the embankment on the other side. Rolled down just a little bit. Well, now I'm sure enough on paying attention to everything at this point. Old Flat Rock walks up between me and this guy. He said, here's that rock that just got, he saw it when it come across. He said, here's that rock that just got thrown at y'all. And so this is the very first night out.
Oh my God, I could have about that.
And this couple, when they got there, they wanted to set up down at the end of the camping area, a little bit away from everyone. And I encouraged them to try to get them to camp up closer to everyone, but they wanted to camp down there. I said, okay, no problem. Well, that evening after we got back, they get laid out in the tent, and something comes walking up to their tent and growls right there at their tent. Just a short little while after the growl, up on the ridge right above them, one screamed up there. Well, they spent the rest of that night down there keeping the fire stoked up.
They never went to bed. They wouldn't go back to their tent.
They wouldn't go back to the tent. And I told myself, why didn't y'all stop here for?
The next day, their tent was on top of the fire. Just
Yeah.
about.
we didn't move up to the main part of the camp the next day. But I told them, I said, when y'all get back to Virginia, I said, y'all have the lottery up there, right? And they said, you don't need to play that. I'm always happy this way for everybody. It's happen for y'all.
But Murphy's Law will, come into play because we had, I don't know if y'all, I'm sure y'all know Greg Ogles from Relic Films. He was here working on a documentary with us, and him and Scott and Jim were the lead car. We were going out that night, getting ready for a hunt, and we were going down some really narrow roads, and I was behind Scott in my car with some more. And he stopped. I'm like, what are they doing? What happened? I get out. Well,
we're easing on there in my Jeep, and we're just talking along, and granted, we're filming a documentary. Well, there's not first camera rolling at this point in time. Naturally, as Murphy's Law, like Sheila says, happens. We have one run across the road in front of my Jeep, not 30 yards.
They lost their religion.
Greg grabs the dash of the Jeep and asked me what that was. Y'all know how it actually went. Jim was in the back seat asking that same question.
Oh my!
We stop the Jeep. We get out. We find where it goes up the ridge there, and the old boy was carrying about a 17.5-inch track, and you can see where he was pulling with his hands. Evidently, this particular one had a bad finger, a broke finger or something, so it made a really unique indentation everywhere his right hand went, where it dug in, like the little finger was broke or something, the way it did. And so that was pretty easy, and them guys getting to see that right there was, just icing on the weekend. And we get back to the camp, filming around the campfire. These things will follow us back to the camp because we camp's close proximities to the areas we go in. And we don't necessarily walk out of the camp to go to the area we're going to be at, but it's within, a short distance. Well, we're filming back at the campsite, and poor old Jim's about to lose his mind because we have something walking around the camp the whole time. All the filming is going on, and he can't hardly do any filming for paying attention to what all's going on around us. And that was the kind of weekend.
I'm awake now.
That was the kind of weekend them guys had. But we've had a lot of really interesting things go on, and throughout this adventure.
You got anything cast? Have you been able to cast anything?
We've cast them from right here at the house. I've cast them out the bathroom window where I'll get ready. I'll, open the window back there and they'll be howling. I've cast the prints out there, by the water, out there by the water. We've cast a handprint was coming up the ridge behind the house. Now our cast abilities are not that of what you see on TV. I'm going to say that.
Yeah, I've only ever found one track, and it was out in the middle of the woods in Western Maryland. We were turkey hunting, and I didn't have anything on me to. And of course, my wonderful cell phone battery decided to die right after I took that one picture of the damn thing.
Murphy's Law, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But it was dry ground, and that was the thing that got me. As dry as that ground was, I'm trying to put my foot up next to it, and I wear a size 11. And I couldn't even, I'm 240-ish pounds.
No
I'm
indecision.
trying to stick, I'm trying to make an impression, and this thing's like, that deep in there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the only reason I saw it was because the way it had turned its foot in the leaves, it kind of, shifted, and I could see the front toes, and then looking in the impression of the leaves, I just kind of peeled it back a little bit, and you could see that depth where it had pushed down into the.
And you only seen that one.
I just saw that one, but I could see the impressions going up the ridge in the leaves.
I think that's the biggest question I have is, we find tracks, and sometimes you'll find, 2 or 3 or just maybe one, and you're like, well, there's got to be more, or they just end suddenly.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think what happened was that one track where it had turned its foot to look, it was looking down on top of our campsite. That's
You think they were going up in the trees?
I always look up in the
We
trees.
always look up.
Yeah.
When we have something disappear.
I mean,
Track
there
wise.
there was a video probably earlier this year, late last year, like apartment buildings, and there was some trees in the background, and they were filming something that was breaking off really large branches in those
Was
trees.
that the one that DA had?
Probably. It was all over the internet for a while.
Yeah.
But it makes me wonder if part of their hiding is, we always look down and around. We don't always look up. Maybe that's what's going on.
Yeah, I've heard stories. I've seen on podcasts people will be talking about, like what you said, Chad. They were up in a tree, and they'd be kind of like hanging on like this.
Mhm.
Some of the descriptions, and so they could, I guess, use the other hand to maneuver.
I mean, it's a great way to keep your prints off the ground. I mean, if they watch
it, it is. Now, when we first started this, we thought we was going to be just chasing this big ape-looking thing in the woods, and that was it. Flesh and blood, the end. That was all. But boy, have we went down
a different path,
a rabbit hole.
I'm sure every time you see one or see something, you have more questions.
Exactly.
Than you'll ever have answers, probably. But
exactly,
that to me is what would make it fun. Is that I love to ask questions, so I would be like a detective every time I saw something. I'd be like, okay, there's a footprint. Let's find the other ones. They go up or
Yeah, the two trackways lesson I found. The one I lost count 50 some tracks, and the other one I lost track at 80 some, and they both were in the sandy mud at the lake, and you was talking about being down in the dirt and down in the ground. I mean, there was some tracks the heel was higher up than where the toes were, and you could see the toe marks go all the way down into the ground 3 inches.
Mm-hmm.
And the heel, it was kind of weird. I guess like parts and pieces of it was mushier and softer.
Yeah. Did you casted those, right?
Yeah, we cast the one that one weekend, and then we cast the 4 that other weekend, and I mean it was kind of interesting. The first time I'd seen anything like that, and I was trying to count them and took flags, and I was like, wait a minute, I can't flag this off. Yeah. Am I going to have to count like 10 and put a flag? Count 10 and put a flag?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's like the trackway. You found a trackway like Shelley and Mark Newble and them found out there at Land Between the Lakes that time.
Yeah, when Patrick was out there with them.
Yeah, they casted a bunch of those tracks.
Yeah, that one that we cast that weekend, the single one where we were kayaking, you could see, and I didn't realize it till I started looking at it one day, and I was starting to make some copies so I could take them to the Bigfoot Museum. Mm-hmm. I was going to keep a copy, and I gave Les the originals because he actually found them, and I mean, I was helping him and look for the ones that day, and you can see the little grooves, the dermal ridges in the footprint in this one little area. I didn't realize it. I was looking at it, I was like, what the heck's that? And I thought it was where the leaves and the sand was, but no, it's the ridges in the foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a guy that we've had on early on. We started this a couple of years ago. Right across the river, about an hour from here, there's a peninsula that goes out towards the Chesapeake. And he's got, I think, prints from 4 different ones out there. And he actually saw 2 of them cross the trail on all 4s.
Mm-hmm.
And he took me out to that spot, and like he had told me, when you come around that turn, they were coming across, and they could move so fast that, they were already across there by the time he spun the camera around and tried to get on them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's like the one I got to see up there on the side of that ridge, the first one. I sit there and watch that thing for over a minute and a half, well over a minute and a half. A camera never crossed my mind.
No.
I mean, it really didn't. And because I've had people say, did you get a picture of it? And I'm like, I had a great phone camera in my pocket. It never crossed my mind to even reach in my pocket.
But Scott, our generation has always been about sight. We're always about what we see. It was never first instinct to whip out our cameras.
That's very true.
I've got all this equipment here, and I've set up my recorder one time, and I still haven't finished going over the footage. Probably because I left the audio running for like 23 hours, and I'm like, Do I really want to?
Download Audacity and put it on there and just watch for the spikes and
Yeah.
listen.
That's what I do, and I miss a lot of stuff doing it that way. But that's about the only way you can cover up that amount of time on audio recording.
I mean,
It's so tedious and time consuming.
Nothing beats actually experiencing it. I mean, the audio is fun.
That's very true.
If you get to hear something like some of the stuff I heard one mimicking my buddy snoring in that same campsite up there in the mountains.
Sure wasn't you?
And I was in one of those booger burritos. I was in a hammock.
Bills to go.
Fast food right there.
And he would snore, and then out here in front of me across the trail, I would hear this thing do it, and I'm like, what the hell is that? and then I got to thinking, I'm like, I know what it is, and I'm like reaching around trying to find my headlamp. I think I made too much noise moving around in there, and it stopped. So when it did that, I just yanked the zipper open and stuck my head out with the lamp, and I'm like, I couldn't find it. But the next day there was 2 sticks right across the trail.
So don't go past that.
Well, that was where we were collecting firewood.
You don't go that way.
Yeah.
No inches.
You know, all the different ones that we've had encounters with and everything. We get asked all the time, y'all ever get nervous or ever get scared about doing any of this stuff? And probably the 2 most nervous times that I've ever been was when me and Sheila and 2 of our friends got bluff charged. And we got bluff charged coming off the ridge that we both saw one on. And that was an unnerving evening right there.
Yeah, I don't know if we got too close to something, but it definitely didn't want us there. If he wanted to, he'd have plowed over us and left a greasy spot.
That particular ridge, that's where we have a lot of mountain laurel, because I know y'all do too in West Virginia and all.
Oh yeah,
we get some mountain laurel up in the western part of the state here in Maryland.
That stuff it's tough. I mean, they make walking sticks out of it, so it's pretty tough. But this stuff up here is thick in this area. When that happened to us that night, all of them headlamps went up on that ridge at the same time, and you could watch that mountain laurel parting like the seas coming down through there. And it stopped within about 10 yards of us, and Sheila was on the impact side.
I was already squatted down waiting for him to be here.
We were both done draw. You know how you get like when you know you're about to get in a car wreck or something. We were already both braced for getting run over, and we don't know if it jumped over top of us or just caught a trail right there and went down the trail or what. But that was very unnerving.
I bet.
Do you? I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Do you think, and this is just after hearing a lot of experiences about bluff chargers and stuff, do you think that these creatures could be like sort of, and I'm not going to compare them to gorillas, but gorillas will charge, but they won't attack. And that's just their way to, hey, back off a little bit. You're in the wrong area. Or you think that's kind of what that is? Was that, we've never really heard, well, I can't say we've never heard of attacks on people, but we've also probably aren't going to hear from those people they attacked. So
that's my answer to it. When somebody says, we never hear about this, I say, well, you probably would if we got attacked.
Yeah. But I was always curious about that. Another thing I'm curious about, and maybe you guys can help me out with this, is lately I've been watching the Patterson Gimlin film over and over and over, trying to figure things out, be a sleuth like that. One of the things is everybody in their experience talks about how fast things move. Why do you think, with all the way the speed and how quick these are, that the patty didn't move as fast? Why do you think? Now, I'm not saying they all move that way.
No, that is a very good question, and you bring up a relative good point about that. One thing for sure, she wasn't scared. I mean,
no, definitely not.
She moved away. These things, in my opinion, and when we speak, it's only our opinion, but they're not scared of us.
Why would they?
They avoid us.
Could it be intrigued about what it was looking at? Could it have been the first time it had ever seen a human?
Sure.
It could have been. It's looking over its shoulder. Like, what in the world?
I never thought of that Chad, until you said that. And then,
What
like Scott
about
says,
what about distance? I mean, it could have been that they were so far away that Patty didn't worry too much because they're that far away. Whereas a lot of the people talk about speed are closer to them, and maybe the thing, just okay, I'm way over here and you can see me. I don't need to move fast. But when it's a case of 25, 35, 75, whatever feet, then it's like, okay, let's step it up and get the hell out of here. Maybe that's, I don't know.
We've heard a couple of different versions about that movie. So it's just kind of,
and it's one of those things. A lot of people were trying to say, how it was faked and all that stuff, and
what we didn't see before.
Yeah,
that the recording.
Right. And
well, I have I don't want to.
Our belief is all.
I've watched it over.
Is real. And,
I've watched it. Yeah. I've watched it over and over, and
I mean, this thing.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you.
That thing's over 5 decades old, and there's been countless number of people try to debunk it. Professional people in that field, and none of them could debunk it and say, well, it wasn't real. Time has stood for its own self there.
And like I tell people, regardless, I'm not saying it's real or it's not real, but it doesn't matter. Does that make any sense? It doesn't.
Absolutely. That's what I always tell people, especially, like you guys, like Jeff, people that have physically seen these things. It doesn't matter if the Patterson-Gimlin film is real or not. And I agree 100%. I mean, if we have talked to many people that have actual physical sightings of these things. So, you can say no, but somebody had seen it.
Yeah.
I want to ask, have y'all ever had anybody tell y'all about, like while they were sleeping in their tent, feeling like, I don't know how to explain that.
What part?
With their head massage.
Have y'all ever had anybody that have told y'all they've been in their tent or something and feel like they've had a hand reach under their tent or something and massage their head or anything like that?
A friend of mine.
Really?
Yeah, a friend of mine. She not only has had, the sides but she said she woke up one night and looked and saw the hand coming. It was pushing the tent down.
But it didn't come through the tent.
No, it didn't come through the tent. It was the way she was describing it. It was like it was trying to figure out what it was. It was pushing down on it, and she said you could see the hand shape perfect, and it was it was huge. And she just laid there and watched it, and then all of a sudden it just pulled the hand back, and she couldn't see anything outside because it was dark. But but she saw the hand go down through it.
Yeah, Pat actually had one unzip. He had something unzip his tent at Hollins.
No,
that would be a little unnerving.
A lot of
yeah.
And in answer to Patrick Noble's question right there, all the ones we've seen have had round heads.
Yeah.
Then there again, this is a personal belief of mine. I think some of the ones that are seen that people say they're conical shaped heads, I lean this just my personal self. I think that's the way their hair grows a little bit on some of them.
Yeah, that
when
makes
they have
sense.
a round head, and have like a little swoop up like mohawk type to give them that conical head look ordeal. Everybody can't be like me and you there, not have none up there to do that.
Mine's going bald from the back up, so I kind of I got this terrible widow's peak that it's just.
Yep, I know that feeling. But Sheila asked you that question. We had an expedition. We had 3 different people on that expedition. None of them camped really close to each other. They were at like 3 different points in the camp area. One gentleman come to me the next morning after all this happened, and he said, "Hey," he said, "I need to talk to you about something." I said, "All right." And he said, "I had my rain fly up last night." And I said, "Yeah." He says, "Well, I woke up," he said, "and one of these creatures was squatted down at this." Yes, Patrick. one of these creatures is squatted down at his tent, reaching into his tent to touch him. He didn't reach all the way and touch him, but reaching in. He says, and then it stood up and walked away. He says, I had to shake my head a little bit. He said, I thought I was dreaming. He said, but then I looked outside. He said, I knew I wasn't dreaming. Well, me and him talked about that a little while. And it wasn't too long. Another person comes to me. They had a situation where something reached like under their edge of their tent. They were sleeping close to that side and lifted their head and kind of massaged their head a little bit, like a hand, and then stopped. And they heard that walk off. Then another person comes to, and all three of these people don't know they're talking to me, each other, don't know they're talking to me. Another one comes to me and tells me something real similar about something reaching in and caressing, rubbing on like at his head area and touching him on the shoulder. If one person tells you something in an outing like that, you can say, okay, that's possible that happened. Two people comes to you and tells you virtually the same story, and they're nowhere close to one another. Now you got to put a little thought into this thing now. When you have three come to you at the same outing and tell you virtually the exact same story, you got to start putting some stock into this.
Yeah.
And I told them all, I said, I need to get all three of y'all together and let y'all converse about this amongst yourselves. That way, at least all y'all will not know that you're crazy, that this has happened to someone else.
That's cool.
And I did. I got them all three together, and they all talked about it amongst themselves, and they were all so relieved.
So they were crazy.
They weren't the only ones that had that experience. And every one of the three, they're ready to come back.
There you go.
Do you think possibly that it might have been one that had been used to humans and been around humans or something like that to be inquisitive or questioning a tent itself?
I always go back to, you hear about them mind speaking or people getting zapped, or they can read your thoughts, what your intentions are. And I just wonder, are they holding their heads? I don't know. But at this point, I really wouldn't doubt anything with some of the crazy stuff we've seen. I don't know.
I've got a friend that says she can talk to them.
Yeah. We had another gentleman that he was coming from a very long distance away to all the way down here to Georgia to be with us. So we let him come in a day early. He called me and asked me if he could do that. And I said, sure, that we don't really have anything going on. We're just setting up gear and everything for everyone for the outing. I said, yeah, come on. That way you ain't got to spend the night in a motel. So he gets there. So he's the only participant with us. And we're all sitting around, and he'd set his camp up. And we're all getting about ready to bed down for the evening. And a quartz rock about the size of a softball comes flying into the camp, hits a tree, bounces, and rolls up over close to our cook area. And that kind of unnerved everybody a little bit. Big rock like that come flying in, and he's over and he talks to me. He said, hey, he says, I'm here by myself, over here right by my lonesome. He says, he had a little one-man tent. He said, you mind if I move my tent just for tonight over closer to all y'all? And then when everybody else gets here the next day, he said, I'll move back up here where I'm at. I said, sure, that ain't no problem. I have no problem at all with that. About 2:30 that morning, let me back up just a little bit. We always tell everyone that's with us to keep your key fob for your vehicle handy. That way, if you get spooked up or anything happens or anything, you can hit that alarm, that panic alarm on your key fob. Two things will happen. Noise will probably run whatever there is there off, be it a bear or whatever. The other thing it'll do is it'll alert all of us. We'll all come out. About 2:30 that morning, that key fob, that alarm went off. Well, I come to the front of the camper door, and I'm standing there on the steps of it, and his tent is right there, almost under our awning. And he said, Scott, and I said, yeah. He says, did you just walk over toward the cooking area? I said, no. I said, I've been in the camper the whole time. He said, so you didn't push down on my tent or nothing? Walk around my tent? I said, no. And he was spooked up, and he got out of the tent, commences to telling me all about what just has happened. he heard something walk up under the cook tent, mill around there for just a little bit, walk over towards his tent, and it went to pushing down on his tent. And he had, on his little one-man tent, he had his rain fly pulled far out. So he knew, he said, if he flipped his light on, he'd be able to see out the netting of that tent and possibly be able to see whatever feet was there. So he flipped the light on and it run off. He said, you can tell it run off on 2 feet, right down a trail right beside him. And he was, spooked was not the word.
He was done.
Yeah, he was kind of done. That
For the
the
poor
expedition
James.
ain't even started, and he's pretty well finished. He spent the rest of that night in his truck, and
Boy.
which I can understand that. I mean, he gets spooked up like that. But yeah, the things about tents and things like that,
Weird.
it happens. One of our own teammates has had her tent rubbed.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
We've seen it all, but we've had a lot of stuff go on.
What about stuff taken from camp? Have you had anything missing, like food or anything like that?
No, only by bear.
Yeah. We thought we got him one night, but he took our, what did he take? He took our
That little rascal.
Hawaiian roll bread,
Yeah.
mayonnaise.
Hey, we run into a bear that had class. He got the Duke's mayonnaise, the Hawaiian roll, the good ham,
The Nutty Buddy
the
bars.
Nutty Buddy bars, all things. Yep.
Oh, I'd have hunted him down on
I
that.
know, right?
And we heard it on the cook tent, and Sheila unzips the tent real quick because she's gonna get an eyeball on this thing. It's a little old bear cub. He probably don't weigh 10 pounds. He's looking across the table.
I could have got him in the truck.
We got
Oh no!
we got up next morning. We tracked that little rascal from his trail of trash and had to pick all that stuff up. And I told Sheila, I said, I'm really upset with him because he got all the good stuff. He got all my stuff.
I don't think we've ever had anything that I can think
Not
of not taken. No.
We've had stuff brought to camp.
Yeah.
Gifts and stuff.
Yeah,
Little
Now, do you try locking it up in boxes at night, or do you ever try?
we do. We do. That particular night,
we went that wasn't an expedition.
that
We
wasn't
were
an expedition
just
or anything. We had a group of friends from Southeast Georgia come up, and we carried them out to an area camping. We were having a good time, and they I told them, I said, make sure we put all this stuff up. I said, this place has a lot of bears in it and things like that. Well, them hardheads, they wasn't going to listen. I
they
said,
might
okay.
have had the alkafluence of alcohol.
Yeah, I told them, I said, well, I'm not putting all your stuff up for you.
But we have a good time. Anytime we go out camping like that, we always have a good time.
Good.
If we ever
Good.
have anything
Uh,
to it.
Somebody had a question for you there. Have you ever had them take any of your equipment or something significant to you?
Hey Tricia, no, not that. Honestly, I can't. I mean, other than like them leaving fingerprints on our vehicles, or now I know they've been in the cook camp before because they're not quiet. They've
No.
slammed the grills down.
They're not courteous.
They're not courteous. No,
But no, as far as
I
taking
can't think
things,
of
we hadn't
anything.
had anything taken.
you had your ticks. Hey, they was fed up with them too.
Hey, what are they going to do if they get alpha gal? I mean, everything, they're probably,
Me and them, we're in trouble.
yeah, absolutely. I'm like,
I'm just waiting to see a Bigfoot carrying a thermocell. That's what
Yeah. We need one. That's for sure. But no, we had a bundle of sticks
Yeah, left one. night.
left one night. That was so
All the
cool
same
because, yeah, they
size.
were all the same length and they were wrapped together with like
Like a little,
twine.
yeah, a
like
bundle.
twine.
oh, wow.
That was pretty cool.
what did they tie it together with?
Like twine,
It
like
was-
they wrap them.
Like a little vine
Yeah,
thing, but it kind of use it like twine and kind of tied it together.
they've done that behind the house. I don't know what the significance is. They'll make a loop like with a, I don't know what you want to call it. It's not a stick, but it's real.
Just limber.
Yeah,
Limber
like you
limb.
can make a long,
Mhm.
and then they'll twine it or use that whatever it is they're using. I've got pictures of that on TikTok too.
Yeah. And when you get, there's a thing down there where that limb is done that way. And when you get to it and you stand right there at it, you can look at our back porch. Through the vegetation, you can see our back porch when you're standing right there at that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we've had some good times with Tricia too now, and
Oh, yeah,
LPL. She about made us all lose our marbles one night.
Mhm. She definitely had us all backing up.
Well, Scott about knocked me out like a bowling pin.
Yeah. Have y'all had any reports of anybody seeing what they call a rake
Or pale
pale
crawler.
crawler?
Uh-huh. Sure have. You're not too far away.
That freaks me out.
Yeah, we were out there with Monsters Unleashed and the LBL in an area that they'd had some things go on. And one only light we had in the area was the cab lights off the back of a pickup truck. We're all standing around just talking a little bit. Do you ever get?
We have.
We're all just standing around talking a little bit, and Trish went to backing up. Let me back up just a little bit. We had a spirit box running prior to that, because there's graveyards all over that place, and we get a lot of things happen on the spirit box in the LBL. And I can't remember if it was me or someone else asked, "Where are you?"
I think I asked him to sit above.
And it says above. Well, naturally, everybody's looking above in the trees, and we didn't see anything or anything. So I turned my thermal off. Probably 15 seconds after I turned that thermal off, Trish goes to backing up, hollering, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" And you could hear something coming out of a tree about 15, 20 yards in front of us. You could hear it coming down the tree. And she was standing in the right spot for the right light angle. Her and another young lady that was sitting in a chair. She's backing up. This young lady has spun out of that chair from a sitting position and past us.
Yeah, I didn't know she could move that fast.
No, I'm backing up, trying to get my light out, trying to get other things in hand and all. And I'm holding the thermal in one hand, and I'm not wanting to drop it. Trying to I finally get my light pulled out, hand it to Trish. I said, "Light that thing up." She throws that big heavy light out there on it, and it's done run off. By this time, I get my thermal going back. I can't find anything. But she saw it come out of the tree, and the other young lady saw it also.
Wow.
What are those things? What do you think they are?
Oh, I don't know. When I think of the rake or seen the pictures, and I'm going to do that because you don't know if it's real or AI pictures. They remind me a lot of. I've heard gray aliens. That's the one I always hear. But I've also heard, if you've ever seen the movie The Descent, where the people go cave diving.
Yeah.
Something similar to that. So maybe it's just something that lives in a cave nearby, and at night they come out and do what they got to do for food or whatever, and then go back down in the cave system. I don't know, but that
might be the best theory I've ever heard right there.
That's the only thing I could think of. A gentleman by the name of Ash's Antics. That's his.
Yeah, he's on ours. Yeah.
Okay, he posted a picture of something somebody had sent him of a possible, he asked what we thought it was. I looked at it, and it looks almost exactly like the famous rake picture or pale crawler picture that's like in a mist in the somebody got with a trail cam. And it looks like that picture, but it's further back and it's coming up out of the woods. Again, I don't know if it's a real picture or not. Yeah. We're never really going to know unless we are professionals at AI. But that's the best I can come up with is that there's a cave system nearby. These creatures don't have any color because they're living in caves. They have that pale, I don't know, they can obviously see, or they have great senses to come up on, up top.
Yeah, I personally really like that theory because like all the places you tend to hear about these things have cave systems around them. Or let me rephrase that. All the ones we've heard about
have
had cave systems around that area.
Yeah, I think in the past year activity has picked up. Have y'all been able to tell a difference?
Here it's kind of weird. Like it's only like fall and spring, and then
more fall.
It's off and on for me. Like sometimes I won't notice anything could be all year, and then next year something pops off. But it's
it's tough when you interview a lot of people. You don't know what's recent and what's not. So you can't pay attention to your local newspaper because they're not going to talk about it. So all you have is word of mouth. Yeah. And having been in this now for just over a year, I really think that there is something going on that's bringing these guys, might be new developments or whatever, but it's bringing all these strange, earthquakes are happening more. So maybe that's bringing some of them out, cave systems opening up, bringing stuff. I don't know. There's so much, but there's definitely seems to be a lot going on in the cryptid world.
Activity for us has been the highest this year. It's been absolutely crazy.
It really has. There's
Wow.
On that TikTok. The reason I asked you a while ago, Jerry, about which one you were looking at. One of our expeditions, we were planning on going into an area, one particular area. We get down going into that area, and lo and behold, someone has pulled down in there, unknown to us, and someone has pulled down unknown to us and started camping in the entrance to that area. So we had to, back up and punt and go to a standby area, and we were easing off down there, and I didn't catch it. One of our teammates caught it, thermal catch, and called for me, and I go back there to it and get it on thermal, and we actually caught one squatted down, feeding. Where you can watch it on the video, reaching out, pulling vegetation, eating, and everything, and there's vegetation between us and it, so it makes it look, kind of where it's blocking out a little bit and everything. And we filmed that thing for right at 4.5
It didn't care.
It was like it didn't care we were there. And I guess it got tired of us, hanging around talking amongst ourselves and everything, watching the thermal. It eases over, stands up, gets behind some trees. And if you watch it real close, you get to see him peek out one more time.
So that leads back to like what I was saying about Patty not running. It was there. It saw you. It knew you were there.
It knew we were there.
So there's probably just different attitudes, I guess.
Yeah. We went back the next morning after catching that. And we get down there and find where it was squatted down at. See where it's pulling the vegetation. Find its tracks. We tracked that thing for 1/8 of a mile. And it didn't care. It left a wonderful trackway. It had like 17.5-inch tracks. It was breaking stuff on the trails it went through. And we stopped tracking him once we got to a road. We knew he went up the other side of there. We could have continued tracking him on, but there wasn't no sense in it.
Hey, Bruce.
Hey, Bruce.
That's one of my favorite videos that we've got on there.
Okay. I'll have to check your TikTok out for sure.
Yeah. I saw a couple of them there real quick.
Awesome.
Yeah, that tail crawler stuff is creepy. I don't know how I would react if I ran into one.
That's a tough one there, right? I don't know if I'm afraid of much of anything. A Sasquatch probably would, I'll probably have a brown pants moment, but something pale, skinny, because first of all, you see something, let's say, I know Scott's a big fella, bigger, taller.
Yeah.
Compared to me, I'm 5'9", probably 165, 170 pounds. If Scott sees me coming, he's not going to freak out. He's like, oh, look at this skinny guy. I'll just push him away. But if you see a pale crawler that's like probably whatever, and it's bone skinny, you're still, there's a difference there. Those things are still, it's something about it. I don't know what it is, if it's just because the way it looks or maybe an aura or something it puts off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jeff, that one that we heard about here at the river, what time of day? Wasn't that early morning hours for that guy who was going to work or something that reported that?
Was that the 911 call?
Oh, that one's crazy. North Carolina.
This is right here. You're muted, Jeff.
Which one are you talking about, Jerry?
The one over here by Muddy Run.
Oh, the pale crawler.
Yeah.
And that was at night. It was actually a guy that worked for the manure hauler that worked for us, because they run a lot at nighttime. And he was driving right there along Muddy Run, along the reservoir, and it came over that chain link fence.
Yep.
Down into the road and like held its arm up in front of its face when the headlights hit it. And there's a drop off right on the other side of the road there. I refer to it as the Great Divide. Mm-hmm. Because when you drive across there, you don't even want to look down. That's how, like, this thing is just, it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
he
that's where
said
it
that
went.
thing just went over the guardrail like it was nothing and disappeared down in there.
Did he talk about its build or anything? Or was it skinny? Was it tall?
He said it was very pale and it was skinny. He didn't really give me much on the height of it, but
Yeah,
he
I'm
said
sure
it
it
was,
happened pretty quick.
he said it was real pale.
Yeah, that's what she
And
said.
it shielded its eyes.
clothed or unclothed?
No clothes.
Okay. I'm just,
Yeah, it was just a pale, like humanoid
That's
looking
wild.
thing.
What about a height?
He didn't really give me a height on it. He said
Wow.
it wasn't real tall, but it was probably at least 6 foot
6 foot.
at
There's
least.
creepy stuff over there near that atomic power plant. We have a Peach Bottom nuclear
Wait.
power plant over there. Not too
Yeah.
Oh,
far
wow.
from
That makes it even more interesting.
Yeah.
On this
Yes.
side of the river, on this side of the
right on
river
the river.
is Peach Bottom.
Yeah.
On the other side is where the generation
Muddy Run.
plant is in Muddy Run. And then
Wow.
right past that, you've got right on the other side of the bridge, you got the actual
Mhm.
generation plant right there.
Holtwood, yeah.
Yeah, Holtwood.
Holtwood Dam area there. There's
Yeah.
like three areas there that generate, use the water.
And I've actually
Atomic
been
power plant and two
fishing.
electric plants.
I've fished there at night and had rocks end up in the river while we were out there fishing for catfish in the middle of the night.
Aren't there rocks in the
Rocks
river?
get thrown in the river.
Thrown in the river.
Well,
Okay.
See, that's the thing. It couldn't have been something just falling off into the water because the way where these rocks were landed,
Something.
it was too far out into the channel for it to just be something falling off of something.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You were in his fishing hole.
His honey hole. Yeah.
Well, unless he was going to swim out in the middle of the channel, I think we were all right.
Oh, there's some railroad guys that run up, I guess, working on the
Oh, yeah.
railroad or something, Jeff.
Yeah, there's
There's a train that runs up through there.
I talked to a guy that works on the railroad, and he's gotten several stories from guys that run that river going up into Pennsylvania. And one of the conductors actually saw one.
We can't get them to come on, so
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Which I understand.
We have
Yeah.
a really good, when we first started doing this, we had a really good encounter story from a guy down close to Aberdeen Proving Grounds, right there by Edgewood Arsenal.
Yeah.
And I still haven't been able to get him to talk about that.
That was
But
our very
happened,
first
like,
show. When that our
that
very
was
first
in the-
show, he was going to be our very first guest.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
went live and he never
We
came
did.
on.
You know, one of our other really good stories of eyewitness seeing. We had an expedition going on, and one of our best friends' son was on that expedition with us. I had the hiking group out, and we were going along. We had something thrown at us from the right-hand side of the trail. Well, naturally, when something gets thrown at you, everybody's intention is to look at the direction something gets thrown from. Well, the way we set our stuff up, we have one guy that's always on the backside, one of our team members. If something like that happens, his job is not to study where it comes from, but study behind us and all the way around us
Sure.
with a thermal. And he was doing everything perfectly right, and he caught another one on the left-hand side of the trail, probably not 35 yards from us, over behind a big rock. You can see him from mid-torso up, and just as pretty as you ever want to see one on thermal. I mean, it was great. But it was eating something. You could see him raising his hands to his mouth, and he was doing the bob back and forth thing, and he ducked down a little bit and raised back up. Everyone that was on that hiking group got to hold the thermal, and watch him do all this. Well, then all of a sudden he disappears. So I'm thinking to myself, he's just sunk down behind the rock. So I wanted him to get up and walk off or run off and let people get to watch him do that. And we do things like this from time to time. I don't suggest this for anyone to ever do this, what I'm fixing to tell you, because it's not real smart. And I'm telling this on myself. But I was going to walk out toward the rock and kind of flush him out a little bit. And we've done this on numerous occasions. In this particular occasion, things didn't work the way Scott wanted them to. Well, my friend's son, he has seen these things. They have an area where they live. These things actually live on their farm. So he's seen them on several occasions. And he asked me if he could go with me. And against better judgment, I let him go. But me and him had a short conversation before we went out there. And so we go out. We're walking out on the right-hand side of this rock. Our team member, Nathan, he's watching close for us with a thermal. We get out there to this rock, and we shine our headlamps around behind the rock, and it's not there. Well, my first thought is, well, this thing, he crawled off. You know, looking in the direction of where I thought he would have crawled to, I just turn on a big white light. And when I say big white light, I'm talking about it's a flashlight, but it's like a floodlight. And shine down through the woods where I thought he would have went. Nothing down through there. And I'm coming on back around to my right-hand side. As I get over to about my 2 o'clock position, there he is. He's got his back to us, squatted down, looking right at us. And I put that light right in his face. You talking about it held his hands up to shield his eyes before it goes, reminded me about this. Because he picked his hand up to shield his eyes a little bit and just turned his head back around, went back to what he was doing. That unnerved me because we are 15 yards away from this thing. I'm 6 foot tall. This thing squatted down is taller than me and broad and massive. Whatever he had on the ground right there, he wasn't willing to leave. And I told the little young man that was with us, I said, lower your head a little bit. I said, just start easing straight backwards to the group. So we did. I lowered my light, but I kept this part of the casting beam on him just to keep an eye on him. We eased on back to the group, and we shuffled everybody off the side of that mountain that night. But that was that was my second most nervous time, but not being nervous about that because I had one of my best friend's son with me in a situation like that. And that was quite unnerving. But if you ever get the chance to meet that young man, he would be glad to tell you about that story because that happened a few seasons ago and he still talks about it heavily today.
Well, I bet.
This is relatively close to you all in Georgia then, or?
Sir?
This was relatively close to you all in Georgia?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
where we do the
That's where we do our
expeditions.
expeditions here in North Georgia Mountain.
Okay.
Wow.
It's getting to. I do believe that they recognize people. I really do. The area.
I would definitely think so. I mean, I know Greg House. Well, now that Greg House is here,
Yeah, Greg's
Yeah,
here.
talks-
Yeah. Hi, Greg.
the ones living with him in his woods, Flat Rock. I mean, there's obviously something there. I mean, it makes sense
Yeah.
to me. If they're living in your woods, or you're
Yeah,
living
we
in
have
their
several-
woods.
We have several different areas that we utilize because we know these things are there when we do our outings and all. And we keep a close check on these areas all the time. I mean, me and Sheila, we put some miles on some trucks keeping up with these areas. And it's when we first started going in these areas, it was always, iffy, hit or miss type thing. You'd see the sign, you'd have some things happen. And anymore, it's like what she was saying. It's like they recognize us. The things change a little bit, most for the better.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, they're not eyeballing you like you could be coming in to do something to their territory.
Right. Exactly. And but I'll tell you one more. One of my favorite stories of all time. We took a bachelor party group off on a private island. Young man was deep in the Bigfoot phenomenon, but he had no idea what his buddies had set him up for. And so they get him over with us, and they get me to tell him where he's about to go. And when I do tell him what he's about to go and experience and everything, he is just beside himself. He is tickled to death. So we get out there, and we get out on the trail, and there's 7 of these young men. We get out on the trail, and we're coming back to a sitting area, and I think We're freezing up a little bit right there.
Oh, are we?
A little, you're good.
Yeah.
We can hear you though.
And we have one scream on the ridge right in front of us. Okay. We had one scream on the ridge right in front of us on our way back to our sitting area. Well, at that moment, I was the safest person in the group because I become like the quarterback in the middle of the huddle. These guys all scurried around me quickly, like, what in the world is that right there?
Like scared little girls.
Oh, man.
Oh, they were.
And I'm not wanting to laugh, at this point in time, but I'm like, that's what y'all come here to hear or see. They said, they're all like, for real? I'm like, that's him right there. And I said, cool part about that is, though, we got to walk by that area. And so we get on back to the sitting area, and Ben's house is private outing and everything. It's a bachelor party deal. The one young fella, he's standing over there, and he opens up a drink.
Pops the top.
Pops the top on a drink. Well, the soon-to-be groom, when that top popped, that's after this other has happened.
He left the building.
He about left the building.
He's got PTSD already.
Yes, that's exactly what he had. PTSD.
But we had a blast with those guys that night. I mean, they all had a lot of fun. They've all wanted to come back.
We do have a good time.
We have a good time on these outings. We really do.
Y'all have to come go with us.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm already putting it on my list of things I got to do when I go down south. I got to go to Georgia and come see you guys.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're supposed to make a trip to the Expedition Bigfoot down there sometime soon. So you know where that's going to lead us to, y'all's area.
Yeah, because he's just right.
It's right down the road from us.
Yeah.
Where we live.
Yeah, I was going to ask us if that was. You said David, if he was the one.
He
It
is.
So you know Amanda.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's still on with Roger, I think.
Yeah,
she's
she's still
Roger.
Amanda
Still doing
Stowers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
But yeah, that like I said, we have a lot of fun with this. Anybody that wants to get in on one of these outings or anything, just get in touch with us at Squatch-Fishing Outfitters.
Well, this year is about done, except for
We
had some open up in October.
We are totally booked out. We had 3 people have to drop out for our Halloween event in October. That's October 30th, 31st. So we have 3 openings for that left. We have the Cornwallis event going on over in Alabama. That'll be October the 2nd and the 3rd, departing out on the 4th. The cool thing with Cornwallis is there's a raffle. Also, a lot of people may not know about that for that outing. The raffle winner will get to come in on Thursday, and that one raffle ticket's good for 2 people. They'll get to come in on Thursday, have a 3-day expedition. And the part that we hadn't told a lot of people about this entire expedition, along with all the speakers, most of those speakers will probably be on the expedition with them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's going to be a good time. I mean, it really is. And like we spoke earlier, when we went to putting that together with Cornwallis, they got in touch with us and talked with us a good bit about. Yes.
There you go, Joe.
They got with us and talked with us a good bit about it, and we got all this put together. And we want to focus a lot of love on Alabama because nothing's ever been done, as far as we know, in that region of Alabama. And that's how led us to pick the speakers that are at this particular
From
outing.
Alabama.
You got some good ones.
Yeah,
I know we're
5 of
excited.
them coming directly out of Alabama. Mr. Mark Newell coming out of Tennessee, and Jessica Jones coming out of Western Georgia.
Are any of y'all going to the Uwharrie Bigfoot Festival? Oh my gosh.
I know.
That's huge too.
It is.
Huge.
We'll be at that one, you are in September the 4th and the 5th. And also we'll be at West Virginia, October the 9th and 10th.
Yeah.
Very good, Danny.
I'll be there. I'm there. I talked to Laurel today, and like I said, I went up there and did a little video for him, kind of like a Facebook commercial,
Mhm.
and they were ecstatic. And she was talking to me and telling me about the event. And I told them that I'm gonna help them as much as I possibly can.
She is so sweet.
They are super nice folks.
But
They really are.
yeah, they're good. They're nice people.
I'm looking forward to that.
We're looking forward to both of those, Uwharrie and West Virginia, really.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a booth set up, and I'll do like I did last year. I'm gonna have a table set up with my stuff on it.
There he is.
I'm gonna have my tracks and a map of West Virginia with some pins on it and stuff like
Okay.
that.
Good deal. Good deal.
Can I pet that dog?
The people gotta come visit.
Hi, doggo.
Oh, that's Mr. Henri.
Yeah, this is Gunner. This is he's a escape artist. He likes to chase deer, and you're supposed to hunt rabbits, not deer. How many times we need to discuss this?
He said, well, he said he'll run. I'll chase him.
He's so
There you
cool.
go.
Oh, he'd have a blast here. I walked out to drink coffee the other morning on the porch here, and a doe and a fawn was standing right here by the corner of my bedroom.
We
I get about 6 rabbits in the yard at a time, and he doesn't know what to.
Which way to go?
the deer around here, they're pretty much like pets. Seriously, we got one doe here that she used to have her own food bowl right here at the house, and we had to stop that after they ate all Sheila's knockout roses.
I said a buffet.
And, but she will come. I can go to that front yard and call her. In just a little while, she'll be in the front yard.
That's wild.
She brings her brand new fawn to the front yard for us to see every year. I mean, he just can walk when she brings him out here, and she'll keep him out there all day until we walk out and see that fawn, and then she'll shuffle him off.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Patrick Noble had a question a little while ago. Have you done any gifting?
Yes, we
Yes.
have. We have done that. I don't want to do it by the house too much. I just don't want to. Honestly, we have a friend that started that, and y'all probably know who I'm talking about. So he has a habituation site. I know what he spends a week. I don't want to, and especially I don't want to be the one to start it and then stop it.
Yeah,
Right.
and he's gifted food. That
Oh yeah.
he was kind of warned against that early, but he went ahead and did it anyway. And now it's one of them situations where he's kind of locked into it a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's ooh.
We actually filmed a documentary down there on that place with him because they started clear cutting part of the property adjacent to his, and he wouldn't never let anybody get in there to do any type thing like that. And he got real kind of nervous about it, like it might ruin that area. And he got in touch with me and asked if Mark would come in and film that. So if it did mess the entire area up, at least he'd have something, from it. So I got in touch with Mark, and we all agreed. We all met up down there, and Mark filmed that documentary on that place. And that documentary is all Sawdust East.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yep.
And that area is very unique. I originally took that report for the Bigfoot Museum several years ago, and along became very close friends with them. And we got invited down to come take a look at that place. I don't think me and Sheila was on that place about an hour the first time we went down there, and then there was no doubt.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going on down there.
And it's crazy the reports. It's like closer and closer to town. We done one the other day, and we went to pull up to the house. I'm like, there is no way. This is a subdivision. I mean, in like very populated area, and there's restaurants and all right up the road.
It seems like you're getting more and more reports about that. Dumpsters, in town, stuff like that. Yeah, that's crazy.
Smorgasbord. You go into a housing division, and they pretty much know when the trash gets set out. And I've got a friend that's in the Charleston area, and he down at the park down there, and he knows that there's one that visits the trash dumpster, and it knows when the trash gets picked up. And he said he's been there and seen tracks when the trash is there.
I believe
when
that's what it
there's
was
no trash. Yeah, they know. It's like they know.
Well, they watch your habits. I'm sure they watch. I mean, keep
Yes,
an
they
eye on
do.
you and learn your habits just like animals do. And well, there you go.
We went to this place, and the wife she had been telling her husband about this.
He thought she was
And
crazy.
He thought she was crazy until he walked outside on the front porch one evening and smoked, and it was standing right there at the corner of their yard. Under
Watch across the road and go towards the restaurants.
Watch across the road. Go to that.
He said, I'll never doubt anything else you ever tell me again. He said, we're moving. We're moving. But where are you going to move? You're already in a subdivision. Come on.
That's like, it hadn't been all that many months ago, right here up in Cherry Log. Cherry Log is a mountain home community area. It's right over by the Bigfoot Museum area. And there were 2 or 3 different reports come out of there. One of those reports was in the daytime. So after about that 3rd report come out, me and Sheila had to load up and go over there. We get over there in that mountain community at night, just riding around. And the reports were saying that one of the reports were saying how it looked emaciated. And we get up in there, and like what Danny's saying, the trash cans are sitting out.
All the blinds are wide
All
open.
the blinds and all the cabins around there are wide open. You can see all the way through them. You can watch the people walking through and
It's
everything.
dinner and a show.
Yeah.
Seriously. And off the back side of that place over there is nothing but wilderness. I mean, that one side of the mountain is all cabins, but off the back side, solid with nothing but wilderness. And so there probably is one up there that's getting older or something, and he's visiting trash cans.
But I do think the sightings are going to continue. I think there's going to be more like the waves in Ohio, and then now Minnesota. And
I just think that the world has changed. Something about, somebody wrote HARP,
CERN.
somebody wrote CERN. There's a lot of things that, we don't know what's going on, but I know the amount of earthquakes we've been having and the temperature changes, and it's not, it's not global climate change. It's just something going on is what's happening. And
exactly.
these things are coming out of the woods more and, whatever. I mean,
this, when you start looking at a lot of this stuff, you have a lot of folks that look at it in a biblical sense. And that's another one of the theories of a lot of the increased activity and all that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to discern or say that, no, that's not it, because, who knows?
Absolutely. That's why I love, that's why I tell everybody, I love to ask questions. I'm probably never going to know the truth about anything, but I'm going to keep asking questions to try to figure it out in my head, at least, or to give other people something to think about.
Right.
Being inquisitive is a way to learn.
It very much is.
Yes,
Yeah.
Dan.
We do those TikTok lives, and I tell you, we learn a lot from different folks
I
on there.
do.
Absolutely.
I take screenshots and I lay in bed at night and won't sleep, and I'm sitting there looking up everything.
Yep.
That is for sure.
Awesome.
And it's something that turned out as a hobby, and everything for us has turned into a full-time gig.
Yeah.
And you enjoy it, and that's what's great.
Yeah.
We do.
We do.
We do.
We really do.
Awesome.
I've made you do it. Awareness. It's so important to people. Just whether you believe or not, you got to be aware.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you believe it or
That's
not, it's.
At least be open to it, because
Mhm.
we are not. I don't think we're the end all be all.
Not a bit. Not a bit. But like I said, we put out the places we will be for everyone, and we look forward to seeing Danny in West Virginia and everyone else in all these other places when we get the opportunity to get there.
Well, just waiting for you. Come on up.
We're just going to have to put life on hold, Jeff, and we're going to have to go south.
Come on.
I know. I'm going to have to hire some extra helpers for when I take off for my adventure.
Couple months.
Just hey,
And
get a big
that ain't
cow-
gonna happen. I'm gonna have to break it up in installments.
get a big
Go
cow
ahead,
trailer. Get a big cow trailer and just take them down with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sheila would probably
Sheila
love
will
that.
take care of them.
Yeah, I'll take a couple of the babies. I can put little shoes on them, and
Oh, Scott, is that true? Would she do that?
Yes. I'm telling you, I'm not joking. Mark Newell would have brought her 2 of them miniature donkeys. I could have seen that. Them little things running around here with tennis shoes on in the house. I promise you.
I am currently looking for a baby raccoon.
Oh.
Seriously, if we stayed at home a lot more, then I would have one of those, wildlife rehabs. I definitely would.
The only reason that we do not have, and this is true, the only reason we do not have a silver fox today is because we don't stay home enough.
I was scared he was going to eat Spanky.
Well, that's true too. Because we had the opportunity to get one, and I was kind of chomping at the bit on that one myself. But we just we're not home enough,
Right,
for an animal like that.
yeah, cool.
Right hand. I'm a lefty. Okay.
I'm glad I got to talk to you guys. It's
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to meeting you guys for real. I mean, like, being able to actually talk to you rather than at the LBL when I was rushing around.
Oh yeah.
So it'd be nice to sit down and actually talk to you a little bit.
Yeah, that place right there, like it's great to go there, but there's so many people there, and you're trying to see everybody, so it's too fast paced.
Yeah.
I would just like to go and just sit and just like soak it all in.
It's crazy. I'm telling you,
Yes.
it's just when it's popping.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
When we were at that Forest
No,
County one last year, it was so damn crowded up there.
It was.
It
really
was. That place, you talk about a place that gets dark when the sun goes down.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You better have a flashlight or something pretty handy.
There's nothing up there.
No, there's
Nothing.
I remember that was the first time I'd been there, and the guy in town says, "Yeah, we only get the stoplight out for the festival, and then we put it away."
Yep.
It's a temporary.
True story.
Yeah, that's what he told me. We were eating breakfast the one morning. He goes, "Yeah, that we've only got one stoplight up here, and it's not even out on a regular basis."
Crazy.
I could believe that there, though. I really could.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about it getting dark. A lot of people that come here and go hunting from out of state, it's like they'll ask you, it's like, well, why is it getting so dark?
Well, that's like when I was at Pat's place over there in Hinton. Good Lord, it gets dark out there. You can't see your hand in front of your face unless you got
a Q-beam on it.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It
West
dark
Virginia
quick
is a cool place.
It gets
It is.
dark quick here.
It does. Last time we were up there in West Virginia, we did the night hike and everything, a couple nights with them guys. That's actually the best thermal hit I've ever had in our entire time
I
doing
don't know.
this.
I just couldn't breathe that night. Oh my God. Y'all's air was different or something.
It was thin.
It was hot.
Have them meet me up the top.
But and it's like that old Murphy's Law thing. Here I've got him in thin timber walking through there just as pretty as you want to see one walk. I have hit every button on my thermal except record.
Yeah.
Jerry and I have done that. Mark Green was with us down by the river. We weren't in a van or anything.
Yeah, and Rebecca came up. Oh, next month I guess it'd be a year.
Yeah.
When is September, October they come up?
It was October when they were here. And Mark walks over away from the fire and he goes, "I think we got some eye shine." I'm like,
Yeah. Yep.
well, of course, you know how Mark Green talks. So, over yonder. And we went over there and got to looking, and I was looking on the thermal, and there was what we thought was a damn rock. I'm still thinking it might have been a black bear. I'm not sure. But when it took off, Jerry didn't see it, but when it left, it was like it exited stage right, and it just
Gone.
No, I was busy fumbling with night vision.
Oh, it's doing this right here. If it can happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And not the right direction, too. It's just nature of it. And, you ever get to see one of these things run or anything like that? That's why people say, well, there's nothing but blurry pictures or anything. It's like, well, have you ever tried to take a picture of something running Mach 2? Across the wood?
That's the best clip right there.
if you're using a cell phone, if it's a certain distance away, it's not going to show up real well.
No.
Yeah.
If you can even
50
think to take a
yards from
picture.
you,
Yeah.
know, you try to zoom in on it, it gets all goofy looking.
Yeah. That's like a trail camera. You know, most of these trail cameras, if a deer runs through a trail camera, it kind of looks like a blur, even with a deer. You know, so anything any faster than that, you might be lucky if the shutter even caught it.
Right.
Well, we caught some really good pictures of some deer one night. We set out. What had happened was we set out a big old 5-gallon bucket of fresh mash. Not our own. We commandeered it from somewhere else. Believe me, I couldn't smell it. I was like, oh my gosh. Can you get a contact muzzle shine or something? I don't know. You set that up.
Yeah, Sheila. Sheil's telling the truth here.
They drank all of Greg's grease out of his fryer, you know.
You told us about that.
Well, you know, somebody was telling us if you put that mash out and you angle your camera this way and they're not looking at it, you can get some good pictures. I'm like, okay, we'll try it. We try it.
I would often wonder if they ever go up and mess around in my corn silage trenches.
I bet you that, yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
bet they do.
That mash was gone, and all we got was pictures of deer like sticking their head out sideways, looking at us like crazy and stuff. It was like they are messed up.
That was funny that night. It really was. Are you talking about that corn silage? You know, a lot of that stuff, that runoff right there has a alcohol content to it.
Uh-huh.
A good one too. Seeing the deer loved it.
Get rid of the deer.
Well, you know, the funny thing about deer is they won't eat it after it ferments.
It needs to be.
If it's the same day that we chop the corn, it spills out in the field, they'll come out there and eat it. If it's any older than like a day, they won't touch it.
But this right here, they mopped up.
We went down the next morning, and it was.
You couldn't hardly find a speck.
Oh, wow.
You know, it makes me wonder about sometimes when we put corn out during deer season, and that corn pile will sit there for 3 or 4 days and won't nothing touch it. And then I'll go out the next day after I checked it, and the whole damn place looks like a Hoover vacuum cleaner went in there and just sucked up the whole thing.
Let me ask you this one thing about do y'all have hogs up there?
No.
Not now?
No, we've never had hogs.
Okay, because hogs will come to sour corn quick.
Yeah, we don't
have hogs. Thank God.
I did not know that.
No hogs.
Because that is one thing that will come to soured out corn quick.
I can tell you one thing: if we had hogs, we wouldn't have them very long because I'd have them all barbecued.
They do eat good.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might get some in Pennsylvania or West Virginia, but
yeah, we've got them in the southern part of the state, in the southwest.
Mm-hmm.
That's where Dad killed his.
Yeah,
we've got them here in Tennessee. I know a friend of ours has a beautiful cabin down by Big South Fork, and apparently they decided they didn't like her yard, so they tore her yard and ate everything. So
they'll do that.
I've got some friends up there in West Virginia around Parkersburg area. They don't have them up there, and they used to come down South Georgia down there to hunt them with us down there. And I made the mistake one year, and I shouldn't say mistake because it was a wonderful time. But I went up there turkey hunting with them fellers, and after about the first hour, maybe that first morning of turkey hunting, I was up on the side of a ridge up there sucking air like a Cummins diesel. And these guys are walking around like it ain't nothing to it. And they said, "Scott, you all right?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Y'all just ain't got no air up here." And he said, "Y'all ain't got no ridges down there in South Georgia?" I said, "Yeah."
Yeah, but
when
we have
when the swamp floods, that little piece of dirt that's sticking up out yonder, we call that a ridge. And they understood after they come down and hunted with us.
Yeah, that makes me feel real good about me going hunting in Colorado next year for elk.
Ooh, let me tell you something.
Get out there early.
Take you a
get
can.
adapted.
Take you a can of oxygen. Thank God we had some of that because that was like our second night. And I didn't realize. I knew I'd heard of altitude sickness, but we had it. Yeah,
For sure.
yeah. I was
Wow.
sucking.
I've never had a problem.
Again.
That time, and when we went to Pikes Peak, we had to hit that oxygen can.
Yeah, I've got some friends that live
I
just
bet,
outside
yeah.
of just inside of Colorado, and they right outside of Denver,
Mhm.
and they had problems when they moved there a few years ago, about 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They had problems adapting.
Some
Took 'em
people
a
have a
while.
lot of trouble with it. When we went up on Pikes Peak, we saw several people that couldn't even
Yeah.
get out of their cars.
Yeah, the oxygen dropped down in the 80s.
They were so sick and, you know, just out of it from that.
Yeah.
But it's a real
Never
thing, that's for sure.
Wow.
Never experienced it. Even down in the mountains, Virginia and Carolina and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're at altitudes around here of around 3,400. You know, that's normal for us. But you start getting up there and breaking that 6,000 range,
Yeah.
especially out in
Yeah.
Colorado, breaking that 10,000, things change.
Yeah.
I bet.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. 10,000, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that is for sure. I can tell you one thing though. After you get a vehicle out there, these newer, fuel injected vehicles, older carbureted stuff, you have to adjust it to get that thing to start acclimating.
Yep.
These newer ones, once they do acclimate to that altitude out there, they get better fuel mileage.
Huh.
It took a week for that Ram to acclimate out there, but when it did, I started getting better fuel mileage.
I'll be
What are you
done.
doing?
Maybe my Hemi would get better fuel mileage if I drove it out there.
After about a week, it will.
Scott went in the store. He went there to buy a can of dip, because he loves that stuff. He might as well eat it with a spoon. I'm not talking about one of them little cans. I'm talking about a bucket. You know what I'm talking about?
That's the only way to buy it.
Right.
$54.
Oh wow!
17 years.
Wait a minute. I can buy a can of Stoker's here, a tub, for like less than $30. I got to drive into Pennsylvania because it's cheaper. But
Right.
Well, Colorado's, yeah.
And I buy it by the tub.
Yeah, he loves it.
And it's
it doesn't make any
$17.
sense to buy it by the cans.
No, it's $17 for the tub here. I stopped in Colorado to buy that same tub. It was $54. I told that nice lady, I said, "I'm sorry, but you're going to have to put that back on the shelf."
Good way to stop.
That is for sure.
Well, I think cigarettes were $15 a carton.
Yeah, off brand.
Oh my god.
No,
I don't
$15 a
know.
pack.
Mm-mm.
Oh, gosh.
$15 a pack.
Yes.
Yeah,
Daggone.
yeah,
Yes.
it was crazy.
That I was just proud I had just enough to get me back home.
He loves that stuff.
I get nervous without it.
That's how I stay awake on these late nights.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a load of shit.
Yes.
I gotta leave my
Yes.
I gotta leave my special, brown liquor in the cabinet, otherwise I start falling.
Well, how many times do you not chew then?
Well, I think I wasn't chewing enough was the problem.
No, Jeff's been good lately. He hasn't had any issues. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
History shows he's been spot on. He's been wide awake.
Well,
And yeah, you would think those would have been the shows, but
I can't disappoint Coonbo again because I fell asleep the first time I was on the phone with him because the phone call lasted from like 3.5 hours, and finally I just was gonna fall off her chair.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's so funny because ask Scott about all that.
Oh yeah,
And Scott can talk the horns off a goat, y'all.
me and him got talking
Yeah.
one evening. Next
Well,
thing I know,
my family
can't tell you
came
how
from that kind of stuff too, so I know.
I can't tell you how long me and him were on the phone. And it was, and we got off the phone, and we could have stayed talking another hour or two.
Yeah, I'm like, Cooper
no
might have
problem. Mm-hmm.
met his match, vice versa.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
That's for
That's
sure.
I
awesome.
think
man.
they were going to send
And I had
a
a
party out for Chad that
great-
one time when Kumbo had him sequestered.
Oh, at LBL, yeah, he talked my ear twice. He talked my ear. I love it though. He just everything he talks about
I like
just so
listening to the stories.
absolutely. I mean,
It is.
the first time he
It
sat and
is.
talked to me, he parked next to my wife and I at LBL, and I greeted him coming out of the camper in the morning, and that was a 3.5 hour conversation there. And then later that night, I said hi to him around the campfire, and I learned about his farm, his dogs, and it was again awesome conversation. But you can only it's after a while start doing.
I think I've had more non-booger conversations with him than I have anything else.
Yeah.
Because when he found out I was a farmer, we got into all the cattle and all that stuff, and it just went on for.
Did y'all stay at the hotel last year, or did y'all camp last year at the West Virginia Festival?
We stayed at the hotel.
Yeah.
Well, that Saturday morning, I was coming back from the gas station. I had went down and got some ice, and Jeff Meldrum was standing outside the hotel, and I swung by, and I said, "Do you need to ride up to the show?" He said, "Yes, I do." And he got in my Gladiator, and you know how tall he is and how much room's in a Gladiator. His head was touching the screen on my truck at the time. And the whole trip up there, we did not talk Bigfoot the whole time. We talked health and talked about each other, and we did not talk Bigfoot. And I didn't realize it till later. I was like, wait a minute, I just had one of the gurus of the Bigfoot world in my truck, and we did not talk shop.
He probably enjoyed that too.
Oh yeah,
Probably.
I imagine when we were in the barn over there with him and Murray and the others that was in there with us, he finally got a break in the action. I walked and talked to him for a little while. Mine and his entire conversation revolved around fly fishing.
oh yeah.
Nice.
He loves talking about just about anything. I found out.
Well, everybody gets everybody has different passions, and that's kind of cool that every once in a while you get to talk about something different than what everybody wants you to talk about.
Yeah. He said I had the doors off my truck, and he said,
he was a passionate fly fisherman.
That's cool.
I had the doors off of my Gladiator, and he said, "How do I get in?" And I said, "Just set your stuff in the backseat floor." And he climbed in, and we drove up to camp or up to the show.
Yep, that's right.
He was probably wondering how he was going to stay in there or something.
Them curves in West Virginia, you ain't lying.
He put his seatbelt on, so I didn't realize how big he was.
He was a tall gentleman.
His shoulders were broad, and how tall he was, and I mean, it was quite an interesting. I love the fact that I got to experience that.
The very first time we had the opportunity to meet him was up in Kentucky at CryptidCon, and Sheila told her story to Bobo. He was at the table next to Bobo, and after she told her story to Bobo, he reached over and tapped Meldrum. He says, "You've got to hear this." He said, "You've got to hear this story." So she had to tell her story to Jeff Meldrum right behind.
Yeah, he's always been so sweet.
That's awesome.
He's just one of those really good human.
Yes.
He was at the festival a couple of years ago, and he showed me how to do the scanning app.
Yeah.
And he told me, he said, "This is what you do. This is when you go to it." And then he was showing me how to do it and use it and stuff. And he gave me a business card, and I was going through my box at my nightstand there back in the winter after he had passed. And I found his business card with that information that he wrote on the back of it. So
I hope you can still remember how to do that, because I have yet to figure it out.
I'm glad you said that, because I was going to say, Danny, now you just opened up a can of worms. When we get to West Virginia, we're going to have to break this app out.
Oh Lord, I got to get a new one then, because I got a new phone.
We've tried using it and everything, but either I'm doing it too fast or something.
Yeah, the first one I did was of a actual deer track, and it came out fine. Little gravel, little doe track turned out great.
Mhm.
And every squatch track I did, it looked like it was layered and in pieces, and I was like, I'm gonna have to relearn how to do this.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful tool. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's hard too.
it saves you from carrying all that stuff with you all
Yeah.
the time. That I think the first person we heard about it from was Alexander Petikoff. He was showing using it. What?
I just got that. I just got that.
What?
I text Danny. I told him, I said, I can't believe you're still up.
It is getting late, isn't it?
Well, I work 10 to 7 tomorrow, so I don't have to get up. So,
Yeah, he was doing some night shift there for a while.
yeah, I've worked a week of nights. We was working 9 to 6, and I was getting here in the morning when Mom was getting up and fixing coffee. I'd still sit and drink some coffee with her before I go to bed.
Oh my gosh. If I drank some coffee, I'd be up. That'd be it. Rest of the day.
Oh, I can drink coffee and go to sleep, no problem.
Yep. That the Navy done that to me. I can drink it all day.
Mm. Did you get that picture?
The hog.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to traumatize me?
Oh,
That's my
sounds-
fear in the woods. Because I know they'll run you up a tree. They'll cut you up too.
yeah. I've heard some pretty good stories here down in the Logan County area. Hogs and people doing what you said, having to climb trees.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The strain we have here, the hogs here are mean. I mean, usually if you run up on a group of them, they'll take off running. You run up on one of them old boar hogs, they're pretty rugged.
If she's got babies, you're done.
The whole south.
Find you a tree and climb up it real quick.
Yeah, sure. Well, folks, I can't think of much anything else to tell y'all.
Now we're 2.5 hours in. Ooh.
Yeah. Appreciate you being here.
We enjoyed it.
enjoyed being here.
Yeah, I'm
appreciate it.
definitely gonna be making my way down there.
I hope so.
Y'all get
Now,
off
do you guys do you run what time of the year do you guys usually do stuff between like spring and fall, or?
We had started at one time like in March, and we decided not to do that. About froze to death.
we generally run from April,
The end of
To the-
April.
end of April to the end of October.
Now we don't do anything in July and August because it's just too doggone hot, and the cicadas you can't hear anything.
Yeah. Our cicada system here is so loud. If anything was to holler or anything, it'd have to be real close to you.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, it's that bad.
it's crazy.
People have to talk up across the fire to be able to talk to one another across.
But honestly, I don't think I could do anymore because we've had 8 this year, and then Maria and Russell will be back in October, and then we got those conferences, and I know we'll be going to LBL November. the 13th. Yeah, so. So much for retirement.
So yeah, I told you, I started off as a hobby, turned out to be a full-time gig.
Oh
So we
yeah.
love it. We love it.
Yeah.
Happens quick.
That's what, as long as you're loving it, that's what matters, man. That's definitely.
Well, I mean, you could have picked worse things to reduce.
Okay, I keep watching the little-
Well, yeah. Catching fireflies.
That's very true.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, we honestly, even if we, and I'm glad we are doing this, but if we weren't doing this,
We travel.
we'd find something else to be
We'd
doing
find
because we
something
don't
else.
sit still very long.
Babysitting stray animals.
No, see, I could get into that.
Yes, you could.
I told Scott the other day, I said, if I win the
That's why I said
lottery,
that.
I'm buying 1,000 acres in Montana that has a river running through it. I'm gonna spend my days in a pair of overalls, mud boots, and squares, and I'm gonna be checking on animals.
That'd
Y'all
be
know
fun.
what
That would be,
sad
yeah, that'd be
the
good.
part about that is?
It
She
would.
ain't kidding.
He could
Oh,
go
no.
fishing. I'm good with that. I'll just take care of the animals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would. Heck, I'd do that. That'd be great.
I know it sounds awful, don't it?
Yep, you're in trouble. You don't have a sanctuary next.
Jerry's gonna
I'll have
have
a
to
big
retire and take
sanctuary.
that RV on the road and just drive everywhere.
Oh yeah,
We've thought about
We've
that
actually
too.
thought about
Yeah,
that. We
but
really have.
it was kind of rough
can't
last
wait.
couple of weeks. You've never lived till you've taken a cold shower in the woods when it's like 40 degrees and you have no hot water. It'll put a giddy up in
Yeah.
your step real quick.
Hey, they tell you that's
Literally.
healthy for you, right? Cold,
Yes.
cold
It was-
showers.
Whew.
I think it's healthy because it locks your whole system up and forces all the toxins out.
That's it right there. That's it
And
right there.
the blood just rushes to.
Yes.
I was about to blow up the
Nowhere.
microwave. I was putting little bowls of water in the microwave, trying to warm the water up to put in the sink to put on the little adapter to take a shower with.
Bless your heart.
I know,
Oh
right?
my! Oh
Where are
no!
you from?
About burnt the microwave up.
We had a water crisis in Charleston a few years ago, and we were without city water to shower, to brush your teeth, to drink. We had this. You had bottles of water or a water jug sitting there, and you'd have to do that to take a bath. And
Mm-hmm.
he'd take your rags. It's not fun, Sheila.
Yeah,
I've been there.
I got
Always, Robert.
a shower.
Yeah, we make it to the woods. We gonna do our best to stay clean.
Find a river or a creek or something.
I've got to tell this on him. I can't stand it. We had an outing. Matter of fact, it was our very first outing. One Bob went with us on. One of our friends, she took a shower in the creek. Now these are mountain creeks, right out of the mountains. This ice cold water. Well, her husband, she told him that he was not sleeping in that camper another night without a bath, and she was serious about it. So she gets him down there in that creek. Well, poor fella, there's pictures of this floating around somewhere. She's down there bathing him, and he's squealing like a little girl. And he finally tells her, he says, "Woman, I am a grown man." And when he said that right there, I said, "You can't prove that to nobody."
That water's cold.
He turned around and looked, and I was just taking pictures.
You gotta do.
Hey, I'm telling you, we have a lot of fun on these outings.
Good.
If you don't
Lord.
have fun, you're not having a good time.
That's right.
There ain't no sense in doing it if you can't have fun.
Yep.
That is for sure.
All
But
right.
anyway,
Yep.
well,
Okie dokie. We appreciate y'all coming on.
We
we're glad-
enjoy
we're
it.
glad we
Thank you
did.
for
We're glad
having
to be
us.
Yeah. Another good show, Jeffrey.
Hey, I try to do my best.
What's next week?
I don't know yet. I'm working on that.
I gotta look at my schedule too.
In fact, Trisha, I talked to her today, and she's going to come on in a couple weeks. I got to get her lined up.
There you go.
Cool. Trisha's good.
Yeah, I found them last night when I was on Ash's channel.
Oh
Cool.
yeah. He's on my
Mhm.
TikTok.
Yeah, he gets on ours a lot.
Mhm.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
We'll go ahead and wrap it up then. Oh, 2:39, 2:40, 2 hours and 40 minutes.
There you
Whew.
go. Even number.
Time
There you
flies
go.
when having fun.
We
Well, we
did
didn't
4
do-
hours with Toombo and did another half an hour after he left.
Yeah, I know. He had to go there. He was made to leave.
Yeah, Sandy told him it was time to go eat dinner. It was like midnight here, but it was like 11 there.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, we have really enjoyed it. We really have.
Yeah.
Michael, actually, you don't have to call in. Just I'll send you a link real quick. You can come on and tell it. He said he's got a funny story
Oh Lord.
with Scott and Sheila. And he went on the outing with you.
Oh, that's right. He did go on an outing with you guys, didn't he?
Michael X.
Yeah,
Michael, trying to think of his real,
Ah,
I can't remember his last name. He's told me 3 or 4 times.
I can't say his last name. I'm gonna butcher it.
Yep.
Starts with a G.
Yeah, that's what I wouldn't even.
I can't
He was on the
remember
very
this.
last one.
Yeah.
He's not.
Yeah,
answering
he
back.
actually had a
I guess
blast.
that's a
Yeah.
no.
He
Okay. All right. Night, Hillary. Thanks for being
Hi,
here.
Hillary,
Miss
Hillary.
Miss Henry.
Miss Wienerhead.
Yep. He's not answering back. So.
I'm thinking about framing that picture she made
I
last
know,
week
it's hilarious.
of me dressed
2
in
weeks
a meat
ago.
suit
Oh. Okay.
with Harley and Robbie. I get to go on my first expedition in probably September. And
awesome.
yeah, and Harley said that I'm the bait. So Hillary made a picture of me wearing a meat suit.
Ooh.
So
Oh my gosh.
That's the story he's talking about. It involved chili being served on Saturday night and it affected one of the attendees.
Ah.
Pretty
That
much
sounds
see where
scary.
that went.
We've had something similar to that.
Yeah.
So, who cooked the chili?
don't know.
Who?
Interesting.
Everybody's owning up to it. So
Yeah.
You gotta be careful with that chili.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Especially in the woods.
Yep.
Okay. You ready, Jerry?
I'm ready.
We'll get another Southern goodbye going.
Oh, it's okay.
But eat. That's all, folks.
I'm pushing
I know.
towards that 2 hour 45 minute mark.
Oh,
We only got 2 more minutes.
only got 2 more minutes.
Well,
Okay.
Tell people to go ahead and follow us on Squatch-Fishing on TikTok or
There you
YouTube or Facebook or.
Do all things.
Normally we got people that'll put that. I think Don's done
Yeah,
it.
we
Hillary's
shared it
done
earlier. We
Okay.
shared it earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
And by all means, give us some thumbs up here and subscribe. It's free, folks. We're trying to hit that 1,000 mark. Come on, we're close. We're at 155 away from that. So I'd like to see that happen. So,
Coonbo was. I knew when we did that show it was going to be the best one we've had.
yeah,
so
it's over 1,100 now.
yeah.
Mhm.
Jessica was on last week, and that one was real good too.
Just really did.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be repeat guests.
Oh yeah.
That's one thing about this whole community. We have met some fantastic
Yeah.
folks.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Do all this.
Absolutely.
and we've only been doing this stuff for like the last 2 years, and it's crazy though.
You
Has
get
it
to
been
hear all
2
the
year and a
stories.
half?
It's been close to 2 now, I think.
Has it really? Wow.
I think so. Yeah, it's really
Okay, who cooks better, Scott or Sheila?
Well, that all depends on what we're cooking.
Cooking food, that's me.
If it involves food, it's Sheila. If it involves meat on the grill, that's me.
Sounds like here. Yep, same way here.
Sounds good to me. Yeah.
And I tell you, first year we were married, I gained 56 pounds. So
He cooks
Oh.
good then.
Wow,
Oh gosh.
that's funny.
that's like the problem when my girlfriend comes to visit. She brings all this food, and I'm like, I can't eat like this anymore. I'm gonna be 40 in a couple of years. I gotta try to keep.
Oh, yeah.
40. Oh,
40,
You and Jeffrey.
I'm married an Italian this time.
Yeah, I know. Jerry's married
Spaghetti
an
meals
Italian.
are phenomenal here, believe me.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That, I think I did that 40 thing once. Been a little
I
while.
just turned 37, so I got a few.
I don't remember 37.
37, 37.
That's a
You're
few
the
I
years
don't.
back.
You're the age of my youngest son.
I get that from everybody.
Just a kid. Went behind the ears. Yep. Went behind the ears.
Oh my gosh.
But every one of us would trade, the ages we are now to go back to 37. Trust me.
Oh, yes.
But I want to keep the knowledge.
Yeah, keep the knowledge.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe.
still pretty dumb at 37.
Oh, shut up, Jeff. Wow. Hillary's landing on you now.
Yeah,
boy.
she just jumped on you.
Oh,
I will say when you get bounced around by cows like I do, it kind of ages you a little quicker. So
I'm trying to ride them. You'll be all right.
I kind of move. Sometimes I move around I'm like an old rodeo clown.
Okay, Robert. I'm just going to share it, Robert. I don't. You want me to move? Look, Jerry, move. Skinny.
oh
Must be
God.
the shirt.
Mm.
All right. Hey,
Okay.
246. We did it.
Oh, no, now we gotta-
We're going to let everybody go. So,
Yeah.
all right. Again, thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah.
And,
Y'all
Thank
very
you.
welcome.
Thank y'all
Thank
for
Hey,
you.
having
guys, love y'all.
definitely schedule another show with y'all
Take care.
sometime. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
appreciate it. Everybody else, we'll probably be back next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. So,
I
Yes.
just got to figure out what we're doing.
we'll figure something
We'll get it.
out. All right. Pretty sure I don't have anything going on. So, I should be all right.
Terry's got to check that schedule because this is a
It's fair season,
busy
baby.
time of year for tractor
Fair
pulling.
season. Yes, it is. Okay.
All right.
Hopefully, we'll see everybody next week.
Good night, all.
Bye, guys.
Thank
Love
y'all.
y'all. See y'all later.